serving notice that the road to the next championship party will once again run through Houston, Texas. Tonight, Oakland gets round one of the most lethal back-to-back pitching combo in baseball, as Garrett Cole hopes to keep the champs rolling in search of another ring against the upstart A's. The party's over for Oaktown. Astros baseball starts right now.
Swing and a miss, strike three. Deep to center field. This ball's crushed.
Garrett Cole strolling out for his warm-ups tonight in Oakland, California. We are inside the Oakland Coliseum as this road trip continues with Game 2 of a 3-game set against the Oakland A's. Game 6 of a 10-game road trip as the Astros won all four in Texas, and then the first one here last night. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another night of Astros baseball. I'm Todd Callis alongside Jeff Blum. And Blummer, we have hit the halfway point of this, the longest trip of the year. So far, it's been pretty much perfect.
It has been perfect, and they have their two best pitchers going. It's nice to see the offense stepping up and giving these guys some run support, too.
5-0 so far on the trip, 6 wins overall. The only starter with 2 starts during that stretch, Lance McCullers. Now they turn it over to this duo.
Yeah, this duo is going to be great, and I think a lot of what we saw last night as far as bullpen usage was dictated by these two guys going in the next 2 days, and that's what A.J. Hinch has to work with. When he knows he has these guys coming up in the rotation, he can use McHugh for a couple, back him up with Brad Peacock, and then finish it off with Ken Giles. But these guys have 237 strikeouts between the two of them. That's 34% of the strikeouts for the Houston Astros on the season so far.
Be fun to watch. Cole tonight, Verlander tomorrow. Garrett Cole against Paul Blackburn, the pitching matchup as the Astros and A's play the middle game of a 3-game series. Julian Morales will join us next on a beautiful night in Oakland.
It's a 2-seam, and so Altuve is asking me, like, how am I gonna, whatever, like, do I want to get on top of this or whatever? I'm like, no, like, do not get on top of it. Like, get under it, like, as much as possible. And then, you know, he walks on deck, and I'm sitting there next to Skipper. I'm next to AJ, and I'm like, hey, what's he asking me for? Like, this guy's hitting 350 or whatever.
The 4-time batting.
Yeah, it's like, why is he asking? Yeah, why is he asking me?
The Astros are having a lot of fun right now, and that clip is definitely a good description of the guys you'll see in that dugout, like HOU AT OAK and Evan Gattis, who's humble as ever. And the Astros get their 6th win last night right here at Oakland Coliseum. 6 runs is what they scored. Evan Gattis was responsible of driving in 5 of those runs. He has been a big part of that 6-game win streak for the Astros, 3 home runs. Like I said, driving in 11 in his last 6, and AJ said last night he wished he could give him more at-bats with the way that he's swinging the bat right now, the way that he's seeing the ball. It's been incredible to see him get to this point. Frustrating start to year to where he is now. Going back to May 12th, he's collected 29 RBI, 29 in 26 games, and our league leaders presented by Houston Methodist show how Gattis compares to some other guys in the league. Pretty good guys, I should say. Trout, JD Martinez, Paul Goldschmidt, some of the best. Average right there, slugging percentage, he's right there. Home runs, 10 for Gattis. A lot of those here lately. We've seen Mike Trout put up a few in the last couple of games. But the RBI, he has them all. JD next there with 24 in Boston. Like I said, though, it really has been impressive, guys, to see where he started this year to where he is now in the middle of June, TK.
Yeah, it's been unbelievable to watch him over the course of a full month. Lead all of baseball in RBIs, and he is back in there today as we look at our Astros starting lineup presented by Southwest Airlines. It's a familiar hoodie for Evan Gattis because he does not bat till the 6th spot. George Springer, Jose Altuve, and Carlos Correa, your top 3. No Alex Bregman today. Yuli Gurriel bats in the cleanup spot. Josh Reddick in left field. Evan Gattis, Marwin Gonzalez, Max Stassi, and Jake Marisnick, your starting lineup presented by Southwest.
Right-hander Paul Blackburn from Antioch, California, just down the road here, pitching for the Oakland A's. 12 career starts, 4-1 record. That 3.48 K per 9 number is a very low number. He throws a lot of strikes. Last time out there against Kansas City, he went 6 innings through 67 pitches. 52 of them were strikes.
He was on a pitch count that night. He'll be on a pitch count tonight. A's kind of had to rush him up to the big league level with some injuries they've been suffering in their starting rotation. They had hoped to give him more time to work into a full start at the minor league level, but tonight expect somewhere around 90 pitches for Blackburn, and he's a guy that will pound the strike zone. When he's going well, he gets a lot of balls on the ground. That one didn't miss by much, but Alan Porter said it was off. It's 2-1.
It's probably a pitch that Blackburn wants. And to Todd's point, last time out there against Kansas City, 11 ground balls, 1 fly ball.
George loops one into shallow right. That's going to fall in front of Stephen Piscotty, and the Astros have their first base runner of the night. George Springer, who's now 16 for 28 against Oakland this year, leads off with a hit. Here's your starting defense presented by Xfinity. You saw Stephen Piscotty in right field. Dustin Fowler is the center fielder, and Mark Canha is in left. Matt Chapman and Marcus Semien on the left side of the infield. Chapman, an excellent defensive third baseman. Jed Lowry and Matt Olson on the right side, and Jonathan Lucroy catches Paul Blackburn tonight. Here's Jose Altuve moving up a spot with Bregman getting the night off. He hits in the 2 spot for the Astros. And Altuve drills one, but foul as he hooked one into the stands. A rare 0 for 5 night for Altuve when almost everybody else in the lineup had a base hit. Altuve and Brian McCann, the only 2 Astros without a hit last night, as the Astros won the opener of this series 6-3. Grounded foul sharply down the left field line. Now Altuve down in the count 0-2.
The Astros seeing the ball well early on against Blackburn. He's a fastball guy, averaging 90 miles an hour on that fastball. We've seen 91 from him. He'll go straight to that slider to get to the other side of the plate. A lot of two-seam fastballs with that 90 miles per hour. He also has a curveball and a changeup, but primarily fastball slider.
Slowly hit towards Chapman at third. He looked at second. Altuve safe. That little hesitation with Altuve's speed cost the A's an out. And Altuve gets a base hit out of it.
Pretty electric start on a couple of softly hit baseballs, but Altuve is constantly hustling down that baseline, and he knew initially he was thinking about probably trying to beat out a double play ball, but when when Chapman made the decision to hesitate a little bit, that gave 2 extra steps to Altuve to beat that out.
I think his first inclination was the right one. I think he had a better shot just to go straight to second. Similar to how Oakland started against Lance McCullers last night. A base hit to right and a chopping single to third. Now Carlos Correa. Nice return for Carlos last night. As he takes a pitch away for a ball, 1-0. Correa on the first pitch he saw after missing 4 games and sitting out for 5 days with the off day Monday. Hit a 410-foot home run into the second deck in left field. Ended the night 2 for 4 with a walk.
Look back at that swing. It was an up and in fastball, missed his spot. Carlos Correa, we've seen him turn on some fastballs up and in recently. That's where a lot of pitchers have been trying to attack him. With the hands quick enough to get that barrel through rapidly to launch that thing into that second deck.
Swings and misses there. Pretty good slider by Blackburn. Throws that slider around 85, 86. I've got to think for a guy who's a pitch to contact type pitcher like Blackburn, this will be a daunting lineup for him to face tonight. Tries to spot the fastball on the edge and it misses. And those are the kind of pitches that he needs to get, as you mentioned the one earlier that missed a Springer, and that one, the ones that are just a tweener. You can see number 4 on your MD Anderson strike zone, just on the edge, and that's one that was called correctly, but if he doesn't get those, he could be in some trouble.
Yeah, if he's forced into the zone with that stuff, potential to get hit hard.
Now he walks Carlos Correa to load the bases up with nobody out to start this game. Blackburn making his second start of the year as he faces Yuli Gurriel with the bases loaded. Yuli 6 for 10 his last 2 games, and even of those 4 outs, he has had some line drive outs in the mix, including last night. Lined out to left and lined out to center. So he has been pretty much locked in for his last 10 ABs as he takes one inside for ball 1. Blackburn in some early trouble. Yuli the best in the American League with runners in scoring position at 444. And a line drive base hit. Astros out early. 1 run will score. Altuve will score. Correa heads to third. He'll get there. 2 RBIs for Yuli Gurriel. The Astros lead 2-0.
That 444 number is going to get a little bit bigger. Jose Altuve got a great jump on this base hit by Yuli Gurriel. Slider on the outside corner. Yes, it's off the end of the bat, but Yuli did a good job of staying through it, getting enough on it to get it right in front of Fowler out there in center field. And I think that Altuve, with as good a jump as he had, Correa did a great job in recognizing that Fowler sat back on that baseball and wasn't charging it and took the extra 90 feet.
Really aggressive running from both Correa and Altuve, and that sets up first and third. Still nobody out, and the former A, Josh Reddick. He takes a pitch for a called strike. Reddick in his career against Oakland, 338. This year playing at Oakland Coliseum, hitting close to 370. He's at 364. This is low. It's 1-1. Correa walked. He's on third. Yuli Gurriel a 2 RBI single. That gives Yuli 26 runs batted in on the year. And he's 7 for his last 11. There's a ball into shallow center. Fowler coming on. It'll make the play. Carlos not able to tag and score on that shallow sinking liner. Well, 1 out in the inning. Yuli and Correa stay at their bags. Yuli was kind of fortunate that Matt Olson was the cutoff man in that situation because Yuli was way off of first.
Yeah, you could extend that lead a little bit knowing you're not going to get backdoored.
That'll bring up Evan Gattis. Julia mentioned how hot this guy has been. Since May 12th, 1 month ago and 1 day, nobody has more runs batted in than Evan Gattis. 29 of them, giving him 37 on the year.
Evan wanted to attack that probably because he's been swinging the bat so well since May 12th. He is in an upper echelon of power hitters. 10 home runs, 29 RBIs, leading the way in that department.
Evan with a 5 RBI game last night. Takes one down and away. And it's 2-0. Gattis now last 14 games, 7 home runs, 20 runs batted in. 5 RBIs, a new career high. Takes that pitch for a strike. Blackburn threw the slider a little more in his first start of the season than he did on average last year. Last year, 10 starts with the A's. Blackburn had an ERA of 3.22. Gattis into right field, sending Piscotty to his right a little bit. Correa will tag. Yuli bluffs to go. Correa is going to score. Yuli gets back to first. That's a sacrifice fly for Evan Gattis, adding to his RBI total. 21 now. Runs batted in his last 15 games. The Astros lead 3-0.
It's good batting. Runner at third, less than 2 outs. Get something you can drive to that outfield spot, get that run in, and that's exactly what Evan did. It's nice when you're swinging the bat well and you get a guy at third base, less than 2. So many options to be able to get that run in.
First 5-6 weeks of the season, we didn't see any of this kind of production from Evan. Now all of a sudden he's sitting at 38 RBIs, trailing just Correa and Springer and catching up to those two. Correa has 40 and Springer 41. Here's Marwin Gonzalez taking a strike.
Yeah, I stink at math, but now since May 12th, it's 30 RBIs and he has 38 on the season.
Yeah.
So up until May 12th, 0 production.
Very little. Fans were very concerned about their DH spot.
We all were. Because last year Evan had, he took a little bit of a back seat having Carlos Beltran on the team, having to split time with him at that DH spot. Now it's all his, and he stepped it up big time.
Marwin takes a strike, get down to the count 0-2. Marwin has fared well against the A's this year. You see the .381 batting average. That includes 2 home runs and 9 runs batted in just 5 games. Astros out early, 3-0. A 2 RBI bases loaded single by Yuli Gurriel and a sacrifice fly by Evan Gattis. Astros starting the night trailing the Seattle Mariners by a game in the AL West. Seattle winning earlier today 8-6 in come from behind fashion. Ball ripped into center field for a base hit. Marwin laced that one and is bobbled by Fowler, but not far enough away. for Yulee to advance. Ringing single by Marwin Gonzalez. The Astros have 4 hits in this inning. And a quick visit in the first inning from the pitching coach Scott Emerson for Oakland.
Yeah, that ball was sent back in a hurry by Marwin Gonzalez. Stayed on this slider, let it travel, get deep enough, and then just drop the barrel on it and rifle it back up the middle. 104.4 miles an hour off the bat of Marwin Gonzalez. We talked about Marwin Gonzalez. He is an absolute luxury for these Houston Astros to have, to be able to relieve a guy like Carlos Correa when he had that right oblique issue that he was tending to. Played shortstop for 4 games out there in Arlington, and now he's able to give Alex Bregman a night off playing some third base. Plays a lot of left field also, first base, switch hit, and he's starting to come around a little bit too.
And Marwin keeps pushing that average up. Here's Max Stassi batting with runners on first and second. Stassi takes one off the plate for a ball, 1-0. Max hitting over 300 on the road this year, 314, and he has a 999 OPS away from Minute Maid Park. Two and 0. You get the sense that Blackburn, who has impeccable control normally, is a little afraid to live too much near the center tonight. He has thrown 27 pitches, 13 for balls, 14 for strikes. And now it's 3-0.
Yeah, you kind of get the feeling that he is trying to nibble a little bit, stay away from the big part of the plate. But when you fall behind, you are forced to get back in that strike zone.
No walks in his first start this year in 6 innings. He's already walked 1 batter in this inning. Now behind Stassi, 3-0. Catches the inside corner. It's 3-1. Blackburn, Plummer said, from not far away here. 24-year-old, used to always attend A's games as a kid. Made his major league debut here last July 1st. Ooh, Stassi thought that was in and maybe down. Instead, Alan Porter gives a borderline pitch to a guy who's been struggling.
It's a 2-seam run, that sinker down and in. LaCroix holding on to it nicely enough to get that call. But I'm sure Max Stassi, if he's a quick study, will turn around and ask Alan Porter. He goes, hey, if you're going to stay there, that's fine. You got to give my guy the same stuff.
Grounded towards third. Chapman makes the play. And the Astros out in the first inning, but not before 3 runs cross the plate. And the Astros with the early 3-0 lead. Olsen, and then Matt Chapman follow up at first and third. Marcus Simeon, the shortstop. Stephen Piscotty in right. And Jonathan Lucroy is the catcher. That is similar to the lineup they had last night.
One of the best in the business right now. Cole 45 on the mound for the Houston Astros. Working that fastball, slider, curveball mix. 13 starts this season, a very good record at 7-1. 87 2/3 innings pitched and 124 strikeouts for the young man since coming over from the Pittsburgh Pirates. He is the AL leader in strikeouts and second in opponent average at 169 against him.
14 start with the Astros. And he will face Dustin Fowler here. First time he will match up with the young outfielder for the A's, who takes a strike. Astros are 11-2 in Garrett Cole's 13 starts this year. And they have given him a 3-run lead to start tonight. Two losses for Garrett. One of them was that game in Cleveland where the Astros gave up 5 in the 9th. As the Indians rallied back to tie the game and set it into extra innings at 8 apiece, and then the Astros would lose in 14. His other loss was to the Angels when the Astros didn't score him a run in a 2-0 defeat. That's his only personal loss on the year. He's 7-1. There's that high fastball that Fowler keeps alive on a foul ball. It's 1-2.
It's amazing how easily he makes it look when he rushes that pitch up there, 96 plus. These Oakland A's are not good against the heat either. 94 plus miles an hour. As a team, they are hitting 210. It's 28th in all of baseball.
We've seen 100 the last 2 starts from Cole. He has that same attitude and amplitude as Justin Verlander, where he can increase that velocity when he knows he's near the finish line of his start. That ball's into left field, pretty well hit, but Reddick ambles over to his left. Josh Reddick playing left field tonight.
Our Best in Texas Power Pitcher is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Garrett Cole and that fastball have been very good. 25% in zone whiff percentage, and out of the zone 40% as far as whiff percentage is concerned. He does a good job pitching in the zone with that early, but I think we saw a little bit of it against Dustin Fowler with that fastball elevated in the zone. It's been a very good pitch for him and highly effective when he can bring it in the upper 90s.
That last curveball was a little dirty. I just happened to glance down at the monitor as you were talking, and that thing really had some good bite to it. And he really liked his stuff last start. Julia interviews him every time after he starts, and last time in particular, you know, the changeup notwithstanding, which he doesn't throw that much, he really liked the way every other pitch was working. And there's another, this 81 with some big hook.
Now there's already plenty of snapdragons on this team. He may have to add another one to it. Percentage of fastballs thrown elevated in the zone in 2018, almost doubling what he's done in the past. 41% of the time. There you go.
That's a significant jump. That's 3 consecutive years with the Pirates with his percentage between 22 and 24. And this year it goes up to 41%. He's just letting that fastball eat.
And it could be a philosophical thing too. It could be a Pittsburgh Pirate way to pitch more down in the zone, which typically, I don't know if there is such a thing as National League as opposed to American League, but since coming over here to the Astros and understanding what we know about Brent Strom and how he's worked with guys, he likes the elevated fastball, and he likes it in the zone too. It's not up there for effect. It's up there for a purpose.
Well, we've seen that 2-seam go further and further away, a pitch that he used quite often the last few years. And the 2-seamer trying to get some ground balls primarily with it. You try and get in on the hands of righties. They're down and away to lefties, as opposed to that 4-seamer, which he is now getting swings and misses up in the zone and even up and out of the zone. Cole had 1 and 2. He's thrown a couple of good curveballs to Cannon this at bat. This is outside with a fastball. It's 2 and 2. Only difference in the A's lineup from tonight as opposed to last night is that Canna and Simeon switch spots in the lineup. Last night Canna hit 7th and Simeon 2nd, and tonight they flipped. Ground ball softly hit towards second. Altuve makes the play for the second out of the inning. Cole makes his third start against the A's as an Astro, his fourth in his career. 21 strikeouts and 12 2/3 as an Astro in those 2 starts back in April.
Jed Lowry.
There's Jed Lowry. A's have done a really good job against the 3, 4, 5 hitters of the Oakland A's this year, starting with Jed Lowry. Lowry, the former Astro, back and forth a couple of times with Oakland, is just 3 for 23 against the Astros this year. The guy behind him, Chris Davis, 2 for 22, and the guy behind him, Matt Olson, 1 for 26. One of the reasons the Astros have had so much success this year against Oakland is they have really held down that middle of their order. Lowry fouls one back. It's 1-2.
You know, getting back to talking about Garrett Cole and his electric stuff, but also some of the conversations he's had with Julia post-game. He is very in tune to what he wants to do when he's out there, and he's paying attention to every pitch and how it feels.
That ball's hit towards the corner and right and will bounce into the corner. George Springer will get it back in. That'll be a double with 2 outs for Jed Lowry.
Looked like it might have been a slider that backed up a little bit on that inside corner. Instead of burying it in underneath the hands of Jed Lowry, it stayed on that inner third. See Stassi set up in there, but it just backs up at 92. Jed Lowry, a pretty good hitter, pulls the hands in nicely to keep it fair.
Yeah, that's one as a pitcher you expect there's a chance damage could be done, just hoping it stays in the ballpark. Now here's Chris Davis. Davis looks at a fastball for a strike. Well, we know one thing about Garrett Cole is he will have a number of conversations during the course of his start. Most of them with his catcher, but also with A.J. Hinch, with his pitching coach Brent Strom, with others in the dugout. And as you said, he's always looking for feedback on.
Yeah, there's a bit of a vicinity rule when Garrett Cole's pitching. If you're in the vicinity, you're going to have a conversation.
Ahead 0-2 on Davis. Garrett started to walk off the mound. He thought that may have been a strike. Instead,
well, he dotted 3 fastballs in the same exact spot. How about that on the Andy Anderson strike zone?
The first 2 are strikes, and the third one's a little higher. I guess we know what the edge of Alan Porter's strike zone is.
Apparently. Got to have 3/4 of the baseball in it, not half.
That's hard to do. That's hitting the dunk tank 3 times in a row, right on that little target. Now he tries the breaking ball and spins it outside. Blocked by Stassi. It's 2-2.
Well, it's good to know who you're going to take to the rodeo next time we go. It's not going to be me. It's going to be Garrett Cole. Win you some stuffed animals.
We'll win a lot more than stuffed animals the longer it stays around Houston.
You ain't lying.
He has been a fun guy to watch since coming over from the Pirates. Breaking ball, swing and a miss. It bounces away from Stassi. He'll make the throw down to Gurriel, and that'll do it for the A's in the first. First strikeout for Garrett Cole. It's 3-0 Houston. Overbuilt, not overpriced. And by Jack in the Box. Try the $4.99 Jack Spicy Chicken Club Combo with toasted sourdough. Second inning baseball. Jake Marisnick will lead things off against Paul Blackburn of the A's. Blackburn almost hits Jake with the first pitch. It's inside for ball 1. Astros getting to Blackburn for 3 runs in the first inning. It'll be Jake, and then the top of the order, George Springer and Jose Altuve. Jake hits it hard. Fair ball down the left field line. Extra bases for Marisnick. He's heading to second. Canna just digging it out of the corner. Jake already into second, and he'll hold up with a double.
It's got to be a good feeling for Jake. Rough season to start out. Staying on this breaking ball and yanking it down that line. Anytime you can get that speed on the base paths, that is a bonus for the Astros. And we talked about Tony Kemp hitting in that 9 spot, how well he's done getting on base. And that's a big key for this team. That 9 spot, if you can get on base and turn this lineup over, good things usually happen.
Yeah, the chances of Jake scoring from second with nobody out and turning it over to Springer, Altuve, and Correa would be very high, especially with his speed. Here is George, singled his first time up. Takes a pitch on the outside corner for strike 1. George inching up towards the 300 mark on the season. June has been a very good month for him. He has been on base more than 50% of the time, 24 times on base in 47 plate appearances. Grounds one down towards third. Long throw to first. And Jake took advantage, knowing it was a deep throw by Chapman. He'll get to third with less than 2 outs. Good base running by Marisnick.
No, that was a great play by Jake. He recognized that Chapman had to back up a little bit to get the play on that hop from George Springer. And as soon as he recognized nobody was in anywhere near third base, he took off for it. There you go. It's a great view of it, but a great play by Chapman alone. Back up, make that play, and trust the arm to throw all the way across the diamond to get George. Good heads-up baseball.
And what that does is brings the infield in, with the exception of Chapman at third. Everybody else is in. Don't see this alignment very often.
Scared of Jose Altuve's ability to yank the baseball down there at a high velocity.
You don't blame Chapman?
No. No. A lot of people say, you know, they're playing in or halfway. At third base, we call this self-preservation depth, because you're trying to keep yourself alive and keep your teeth in place.
So everybody in with the exception of Chapman. Jake with good speed at third. And the pitch down low to Altuve. It's 2-0. Jose with an infield hit his first time up. He is second in the league with runners in scoring position, trailing just his teammate Yuli Gurriel. Yuli back over, Tuve back over 400 hitting on the road this year.
About time.
After an 0 for 5 last night. That one almost hits him on the fastball inside. And it's 3-0. You don't anticipate a pitch around with Carlos Correa on deck, but Altuve has not seen anything good at all from Blackburn, who's normally a pretty good pitcher with his command. Didn't see anything close. 4-pitch walk to Altuve. Julia?
Shiner box spotlight falls on Carlos Correa. He had 5 days off of that right side soreness before returning to action last night. He was tested pretty quick at the double plays, check swings, you name it. But home runs, we saw a home run for him off the first pitch that he saw. He said he came out, he wanted to be aggressive. There it is right there. He wanted to get right back at it. And we saw some good things with the swing actually before the injury, guys, especially with making the adjustment, pitchers trying to go up and in on him, and he was able to hit that pitch out a few times here recently. So wants to get right back in there and right back at it to get in a groove here pretty quick.
He was in a groove in batting practice today.
Yes, he was.
Doesn't always translate, but he was hitting some loud and long home runs.
The orange dots are going to be the first 8 home runs for Carlos Correa, the last 3 up and in, just like Julia was talking about. And that's really been a tough spot for him this season, is getting to those inside pitches. But I also think it's a little bit of the approach to Carlos Correa, and it's also the approach of Carlos Correa. We talked to him earlier in the season, said he was really putting an emphasis on going up the middle the other way. But I think in recognizing that there are opportunities to attack that pitch up and in, he's gone ahead and done it. But I also believe his hands are good enough to sit on the other stuff and react up and in.
Ball hammered, fair ball down the left field line. Marisnik scores. Altuve digging for third. He will be sent home. The ball gets away from Canna. Correa to third. Astros lead 5-0. Correa with 2 runs batted in.
No sooner do we talk about it than he goes ahead and does it. And I truly believe he is talented enough and has quick enough hands, as you see LaCroix setting up inside, that he can look out over the plate and yank that fastball in, especially at 88 miles an hour. This day and age where everybody seems to be coming out throwing 95 miles an hour, these guys are good enough to adjust to 88 miles an hour on the inside corner. That pitch was even off the plate, but still the ability, I think, that's impressive is he keeps the ball fair. Sometimes you get a little pull happy or you yank the hands in too quick and it ends up being a foul strike, but he keeps the ball fair.
Good to see that, because the hot cold zone had flipped a little bit from last year.
Yep.
And now we're seeing him really do damage on inside pitches in his first 2 games back. A double, 2 RBIs for Carlos Correa, who now takes over the team lead from George Springer. Correa up to 42 runs batted in. And the error on Canna allows Correa to go to third and will also bring the infield in with Yuli Gurriel batting. Yuli hits one hard, base hit into left field. 6-0 Astros. Most runs allowed by Blackburn in any of his previous 11 career starts.
Well, you talked about it all the way back in the first inning that it's going to be a tough outing for Blackburn, just in the sense that he throws so many strikes, and this is a team that really, when the pitches are in the zone, they're ready to swing it.
Yuli now 8 for his last 12. Emilio Pagan warming up for the A's. The Astros already with a 6th spot in this game. And Josh Reddick, the batter. Reddick takes one down and in, ball 1. Blackburn's previous high was allowing 5 runs against the team across the bay. The Giants scored 5 against them July 31st of last year. But tonight the Astros have already put up 6, and he's only recorded 4 outs. There's a ball hammered but foul down the right field line. The A's coming into this game averaging less than 3.5 runs per game scored at home. They're down tonight early, 6-0. 2-1 the count. Reddick flied to center his first time up. Counts 3-1. Reddick with a base hit to right field. Yuli goes to second. He will stop there. The Astros continue with this inning. 4 more hits this inning after 4 hits in the first, and that'll be enough for Bob Melvin. He is out of the dugout. His starting pitcher, Paul Blackburn, will last just an inning and a third tonight in his second start of the season after pitching 6 innings of 1-run baseball in his first start against Kansas City. Blackburn out of the game. We'll be back after this, 6-0.
24th. Fans can dress as their favorite superhero, and 10,000 fans will get a superhero Lithos comic poster. Upgrade your Marvel experience with a Superhero Day ticket package. Visit astros.com/superhero for more info.
Astros lead this game 6-0. Paul Blackburn out after an inning and a third, allowing 8 hits and 2 walks, responsible for the 2 on. And Emilio Pagan is the new pitcher.
He is their long guy, 19 games this season, a 3.68 ERA. That whip at 1.5. He's done pretty good in his last 7 appearances since being recalled, but he is gone as long as 2 1/3 innings this season for Bob Melvin.
Evans swings at the first pitch and fouls it away. Not a bad idea to get aggressive against Pagan. He is in the zone 51.2% of the time, which is the highest of any reliever for the A's. Evan with a sac fly his first time up. Now 30 runs batted in since May 12th. Evan tried to check his swing, got a piece of it. It's 0-2.
You see a fastball around 93, 94 miles an hour from Pagan. Change up around 87 and a slider in the mid 80s. Those are numbers you like to see if you're an Astros fan.
Bunching up just like it did last year.
It's incredible, isn't it? They've had so many base runners throughout the last season and this season. Equal opportunity for everybody out there to get some stakes.
Gaddis gets into one towards left, sending Canna back. He is looking up, and this ball is gone. Evan Gaddis, 3-run home run. Astros lead this game 9-0 as Gaddis continues to be as hot as any player's been all year for over a month.
My goodness. 3-run bomb last night, 3-run bomb here tonight. 8 RBIs in this series for Evan Gaddis. It's only the second inning of the second game. Man, fastball tailing right over the meat of the plate. And Evan's another guy that's done a good job of dropping the barrel on some inside pitches.
Evan has 5 at-bats in this series and 9 runs batted in. It's a remarkable stretch for Gaddis, who hits his 8th home run in his last 15 games and has 24 RBIs during that stretch. Gaddis with 4 RBIs, Yuli with 3 RBIs. And Carlos Correa with 2. Now Marwin bats with the bases cleared, and the Astros up 9-0. All 8 runs, or 8 of the 9, I should say, charged to Paul Blackburn. Blackburn in an inning and a third gives up 8 hits and 8 runs and walks 2. As Evan Gaddis puts that lucky hoodie on, and why not? It's been working for him. Knowing this team, there's a good chance everybody's telling Alex Bregman, we're good.
Yeah.
Enjoy your day off.
You?
Yep. we got this covered, eh, Alex? 2-1 pitch misses away. It's 3-1. Garrett Cole with a 9-run cushion.
He almost looks mad. Let me out there.
3-1 pitches hit hard towards left center field. That's deep. That ball is off the top of the wall. Gone. It's over the wall. Over the green wall, off the State Farm sign. Home run, Marwin Gonzalez. It is 10-0 on back-to-back jacks for the Astros. The Astros have made 4 outs and have scored 10 runs.
This is incredible.
Get George back up there and make another out.
Here's Max Stassi.
They keep swinging the bats like this. They might be able to get Alex Bregman into the game.
Marwin hits his 5th. All as a left-hand hitter this year. One of those days where everybody's feeling good at the plate. This inning started with Jake Marisnick leading off with a double, and Jake is back on deck as the Astros will bat around. Only 1 out in this inning. 5 consecutive hits after a walk, and then Max Stassi strikes out.
Man, oh man, a fastball up and away. Marwin does a good job of letting that ball travel and staying on it, and then just releases through the zone. It's not easy to do here. Just go oppo taco. George is in on this, all in.
You're right, Garrett just kind of sat there and was like, okay.
He's like, great, guys, you're getting your fill. Can I go out there and pitch?
Can you spread these out a little?
He's going to be down in the bullpen getting loose again.
I'll take like a few every game. Jake with a count of 1-1. Jake doubled, scored a run to start this inning. Driven in by Carlos Correa. After the walk to Jose Altuve, went Correa double, scoring 2, Yuli RBI single, Reddick a single, pitching change, Evan Gattis 3-run home run, Marwin Gonzalez solo home run. And now Jake Marisnick strikes out to end the second. 6 runs in the inning and back-to-back home runs. Garrett Cole stoic watching as his team puts up. A lot of offense so far.
Got some catching up to do.
10 runs on 10 hits for the Astros, with Garrett Cole working in his second inning, facing Matt Olson, Matt Chapman, and Marcus Semien. Astros jumping all over the starting pitcher for the A's, Paul Blackburn, who gave up 8 runs, and then the reliever Emilio Pagan allowed back-to-back home runs. 3-run shot by Evan Gattis and a solo home run by Marwin Gonzalez. We sit at 10-0 right now behind Garrett Cole, who has not allowed more than 3 runs in any start as an Astro. So if you're an Astros fan, you're feeling pretty good about your chances right about now.
Yeah.
Long way to go, but Garrett Cole has not shown any reason to be distressed, especially with that big of a cushion. Upstairs, Olson is 3-2. Most runs the Astros have scored with Cole on the mound was 11 against the other team from this Bay Area, the San Francisco Giants. They won 11-2 in that game. Cole loops one down the left field line, and that will be foul. And the count stays 3-2. Swing and a miss. Blows the fastball by him at 98 miles an hour. First out of the second, Julia.
Hey, I've got tonight's Chevy Stropole. I see you guys on Twitter already, so you might as well jump on our page at ATT Sports NSW and vote in our poll. Which Astros development has been the most surprising in 2018? Is it Garrett Cole's strikeout rate, Correa and his improved defense, the catcher and designated hitter production so far? Vote. I'll tell you who wins later. Twitter is buzzing right now.
Yeah, they're pretty excited.
Would you say buzzing or exploding?
It's probably exploding. It's a better word.
Are people fired up?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, there's no JMI tonight early because it's a perfect night. JMI, if you're not familiar, Julia Morales Index. But it may get a little cool, Julia. As we,
No, I'm already cold.
when the sun goes down, right now you're cold?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So warm today, too.
Our game time temperature for first pitch was 68 degrees.
Yeah.
Balmy.
It's freezing.
Go hang out next to the bat rack.
Yeah.
Those things seem to be pretty warm.
0-2 pitch misses outside. It's 1-2. Sun still setting here on the West Coast.
Yeah, you could get up there on Mount Davis, catch some rays.
Think you might do that this series?
I haven't really gotten bored yet. But you never know.
It's a possibility.
Oh, this ballpark, always a possibility.
Plummer left us last series when we were in Oakland, went up to the treehouse for a quick little visit, a very popular spot here in the Oakland Coliseum. Swing and a miss. All of a sudden, Garrett Cole has struck out 3 in a row, 2 outs in the second inning. He's gotten Chris Davis, Matt Olson, and Matt Chapman the last 3 outs.
Fastball's up in the zone, and then that slider down and away. Gets a swing and miss. It's a guy that's been swinging the bat pretty good of late. Did a great job yesterday. 3 doubles for Matt Chapman, but made pretty good work of him with that slider away.
This ball's hit hard to left field, and looking up is Josh Reddick. It's off the wall, plays it well. Simeon will be held to a single. How about that? Garrett Cole points to Reddick and starts clapping into his glove because he knows that was an impressive play to hold Simeon to a single.
Well, in order to avoid the strikeout, you got to be aggressive early in the zone. And if you get a fastball you can get to, don't miss it. Simeon didn't, but Josh Reddick did a phenomenal job of playing that off the wall and keeping it to a single.
Think his pitcher appreciated that? Not a boy. Simeon knows all too well that Josh Reddick can throw out runners trying to stretch singles into doubles.
I just think it's great that Garrett Cole gives up a rocket that ends up being a single, and he's happy about it because the guy didn't end up in scoring position because his left fielder did a great job of getting the baseball back in. 10-run lead. Could have been a little lackadaisical about things out there in the outfield, but Josh playing hard.
Pitch up and away. It's 1-1. We mentioned last year one of the unique features of this Astros team was not only were they uber talented, but they were supremely close as well. And this year's team's no different. If anything, they may be even closer than last year's squad, having gone through a World Championship season together. And guys like Justin Verlander are now here for the full year. And Garrett Cole has just fit in seamlessly with this team. It's almost like he was here last year too.
Yeah, we've had plenty of conversations that have had a good laugh talking about how at the trade deadline last year, Garrett Cole's name came up, Justin Verlander's name came up, and here we are in June, and they are in the rotation for the Houston Astros.
Yeah, if you're Oakland, you are 0-4 against the Astros coming into today at home, and 1-6 overall. And you're facing Garrett Cole and Justin Verlander to wrap up the series. And now you're looking at a huge mountain to climb, and we're not talking about Mount Davis.
That might be easier.
2-2 pitch, swing and a miss. The way Cole looks, you're right. Last 4 outs have been strikeouts, and we head to the third.
Good for the Athletics against the Astros, but they've got a pretty good third baseman, a young one too. Matt Chapman has saved 18 defensive runs this season. He is the major league leader, and in the few times we've seen him with opportunities to make plays, he has come through. He's got great range going to his right in foul territory. Knows he's got quite a ways to go to get to that tarp where he made that great play on a fly ball, but a good young talent who we saw swing the bat pretty well last night too with 3 doubles, but some youth again here for the Oakland A's to play a pretty good third base.
Back to the top of the order again for the Astros. George Springer batting for the 3rd time as we start the 3rd. Springer has singled, scored a run, and grounded out. His ground out was to the aforementioned Matt Chapman, but on the play, Jake Marisnick moved over to 3rd. And that got things rolling for the Astros. They would go walk, double, single, single, home run. Actually, the double was changed to a triple now. Correa gets a triple out of it.
Good call. Ball ricocheted off that left field corner out there, and Cannon really didn't get anywhere near it. The assumption was he kicked it, but it would just ricochet out there pretty good past him for a triple.
So now the Astros hit for the cycle last inning with the Marisnick double, the Correa triple. 2 singles by Yuli and Reddick, and 2 homers by Gaddis and Marwin. Well, not a great task here for Emilio Pagan. He's going to try and go as many innings as possible for Bob Melvin. He can save his bullpen knowing that tomorrow they have Justin Verlander to face. Springer with a count of 3-2. Day game tomorrow, which means the starting pitcher on a night game the night before has the option of staying as long as he wants, if he wants to stay at all. Some pitchers that start the next day head out as soon as the game starts, but Verlander hanging out tonight as Springer fouls one away. The idea being by the time the team gets back, especially on a travel day, quick turnaround, give your starter as much rest as possible.
It's amazing what the Astros have been able to do to the West so far early on in the season. Record is 23-10 as we stand right now.
Springer misses the fastball from Pagan. 1 out in the 3rd. So if you're the A's and you're down 10-0 right now,
my goodness,
and you're thinking maybe tomorrow could work out for us.
Yeah, keep grinding, boys.
Eesh.
I mean, back-to-back starters with first and second place in basically every pitching category there is.
Yeah. The A starter tomorrow has done a good job. Frankie Montas. In 3 starts, he has a ERA of 1.25, but going against JV tomorrow on the red-hot offense of the Astros. Altuve, single, a walk, 2 runs scored. And he chops one foul. It's 0-2. It's been the opposite for the A's. You mentioned how well the Astros have played against the AL West. The A's are dominating against teams outside their division. But inside the division, ooh, they are fighting it. Altuve into center field. Dustin Fowler is there. Puts it away for out number 2.
Let's take a look back to last night. Carlos Correa's home run. He did a great job. Watch the knob of the bat coming towards you and bringing the hands in. There's a little bit of lag in that barrel, and once he recognizes it's a pitch he wants to get to, that's when he brings that top hand through, and that's what provides a lot of power in these swings for some of these big league hitters. Watch the knob drive towards the pitcher, and then the barrel comes through with that top hand. And it's interesting how he finishes with that barrel below his left shoulder, almost tomahawking that pitch out. But a unique talent to be able to get to that inside pitch.
Takes a breaking ball from Pagan. The Astros scored 10 runs during the same stretch where the A's recorded 4 outs, and now Pagan has retired 4 in a row after that. Misses to Correa. It's 1-1. Well, the Astros, as Blummer mentioned, are 23-10 against the West. The A's are almost the exact opposite. 10-22. Yet they're a game over 500 because they are 24-11 against the rest of baseball.
Here's those numbers Todd's talking about. It's a little more dramatic when you see it on a graphic.
And the Astros have a chance tonight with a win to do something that has never happened before in franchise history. And that is take the lead in the season in the overall franchise series record against Oakland. Oakland won the first matchup and has never looked back. And they are currently tied as the Astros have a 6-game winning streak. Young Astros fan getting a souvenir.
It was a very nice gesture of the ball boy down there. I think initially it was a clink and it went back on the field, but the ball boy handed that young man a souvenir. Don't remember the visit.
We're going to have a visit in our booth in the 4th inning.
Yeah, if he still wants to come over.
Ray Fosse played with the A's, has announced for over 30 years with the A's, both radio and TV, currently on radio tonight, but he's going to join us on our broadcast in the 4th inning. 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Pagan with a strong inning, a couple of strikeouts, and getting Springer, Altuve, and Correa 1-2-3.
effective with. Didn't get the strikeout with it, but did a phenomenal job of setting up Chris Davis in this at bat. 3 straight fastballs in the same spot in that top part of the zone to get to that 1-2 count. Wasted one down and away, and then threw a very good breaking ball to get the check swing. But that's just how effective that fastball can be. You can also pitch a little bit backwards to get that breaking ball over early and then pump that fastball late in ABs. But when he's going good, he's handing out a lot of pine meat sandwiches.
He'll face Jonathan Lucroy to start the bottom half of the 3rd inning. It's a fastball away. Lucroy, the number 9 hitter. The Astros have already had 3 batters hit 3 times before Lucroy bats for the first time tonight. It is his birthday today, and he singles on his 32nd birthday. So there's that for the A's. Leadoff base runner in the bottom of the 3rd. Lucroy's done well on his birthday, 9 for 19 now.
Wow.
Now batting number 11, Dustin Fowler.
If he was as old as Yuli, he'd have a lot of very good birthdays. He'd have more ABs.
Yuli celebrated his 34th, although there was some dispute as to how old he was with the birthday cake over in Arlington, Texas over the weekend. Here's Dustin Fowler taking one down and away for a ball, 1-0. Fowler fly to left his first time up. Garrett Cole's allowed 3 hits. He has also struck out 4. Fires a strike in there. It's 1-1. Cole has struck out 25 Oakland A's this year in 14 2/3 innings in his 3 starts.
Ooh. That was impressive. A backdoor slider from Garrett Cole. Usually we see that power slider down and in to that glove side part of the plate, but that is absolute perfection. 89-mile-an-hour slider.
And then a curveball with even more bite and more.
They do
downward.
look a little extra crisp this evening. I'm not sure it's because of the lead and he's feeling good about it, but there is a little extra bite on some of these breaking pitches from Garrett Cole.
I'm going to go back to what he said last start. He's not a guy that sits there and pats himself on the back very often, but he said he really liked his stuff in that start against Texas, where he went 6 innings of 3-hit 1-run baseball. And it's transferred over again tonight, although that one's hit well by Mark Canha down the left field line and just foul.
I've seen 2 sliders so far in the 48 pitches from Garrett Cole that have not been hyper effective. He got away with this one. The one previously was to Jed Lowry that ended up being a double, but this one Canha got a little bit quick on it. Fortunately yanked it foul. And knowing Garrett Cole, he's probably going through the the mental structure of that delivery and the rotation on that pitch and probably trying to adjust it.
Ball's hit to right field. Springer is there. Canha lines out for out number 2. Catch a great ballpark bargain with the Coca-Cola Ballpark Bundle. The bundle includes a ticket, hot dog, soda, and popcorn for just $20. Visit Astros.com/ballpark bundle for tickets and information. 2 outs, a runner on. That Astros fan stayed up late last night.
You better dig in. You got another long one tonight.
So here's Jed Lowry. Julie was right. Twitter has blown up tonight. I was reading in between innings. We've got a lot of comments already. And so now, you know, in the bottom half of the 3rd inning, we'll have a special guest in the 4th. But now it's 10-0. You've got Garrett Cole on the mound. As an Astros fan, you feel pretty good.
Yes.
So I'm wondering, are fans just going to be like, this is one of those nights I want to watch the whole game, or do they say, this might be my one night to turn it early because
there's a quick turnaround
because
too.
Garrett Cole's pitching and it's 10-0 and we've got a day game tomorrow. I'm going to guess fans are going to see what the rest of this night might have in store. We've already seen multiple RBIs out of 3 players who have a chance to do something special.
Yeah, if you like to watch guys hit, you want to watch tonight, but I'm with you as far as watching Garrett Cole. Hang on, see what he's got left in the tank, because we know he's got the ability to go through some strikeouts and put guys away quite frequently.
This guy is, and I say it probably too often, but this guy is so much fun to watch, just the way he dissects and attacks hitters, and how he cheers for Josh Reddick making a play off the wall when he gave up a rocket. Now Lowry a check swing. It's 2-2. And you get the sense that this guy who pitches 200 innings on a regular basis is a horse that you'll get to see pitch, you know, knock on wood, 200 innings as long as he stays healthy. And he could put up some big numbers at the way he's gone this first 68 games.
We have fan graphs and other websites that we go through that give you projections on certain guys, even some of the fantasy websites that project what is a guy like Garrett Cole going to do in this rotation. And I saw a number today that said he's going to total 165 strikeouts this year. That was what they projected him at. It's going to be blown past that.
Oh, yeah. It's not even going to be close to that. We'll have Ray Fosse next inning. Todd Callis, Jeff Blum, special guest Ray Fosse joins us.
10-0, boys.
How are you, Fosse?
How you holding up?
This is great, isn't it?
You came over to this side because it's 10-0.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, you know, I was telling Blummer earlier. I said, "This is your ball club. I mean, this is fun for you guys."
No, it was amazing. We've talked about it over the years, and you were really impressed with this ball club.
Yeah.
But I had no idea that you were going to inspire the guys this much to go out there and put up 10.
No. I don't like to do that. I mean, I have to have, you know, at least some of the favoritism towards the A's,
yes,
you know, especially Paul Blackburn. He's a local guy up in Brentwood. They grow a lot of great vegetables up there.
Do they?
Oh, yeah. It's a beautiful place. But, no, this is a great team, and I don't envy you because I've had the opportunity with some pretty good clubs with the A's. So this makes it nice. And for you guys to be able to broadcast with a team that is a very good team. And as I was telling Blummer earlier, that the nice thing about watching the Astros and the repeat of a championship, they look like they're dead set. They want to do it. You know, instead of saying, hey, we've won one, let's just relax a little bit. I don't think these guys are even thinking about that.
Well, quick background. Most fans know Ray Fosse, but for those in Houston that are not aware, you did that as part of an A's team that went back to back to back.
Right.
You were on the last two teams in 73 and 74.
Right.
And it does take a special attitude.
You know, oh, look at this. Look at the hair on this guy, boy. and Don Sutton gave it up, man. A hanging curveball down the left field line here. Game 5 of the World Series in 74.
It was a bomb, too.
Look at that. Come on,
you were feeling pretty good right there, right?
That was young, man. You know what it's like to hit a home run in the World Series?
You were 26, 27 for those back-to-back.
Yeah.
That was impressive stuff.
Well, and you know, to be very honest and talk about the repeat, and the thing that is impressive about what the A's did. It's only 2 teams in Major League Baseball in the history of the game have ever won 3 consecutive World Championships. The Yankees and the Athletics. The Yankees did it 5, but at that time, it was the American League, National League, and you play the World Series and it's over. But, and granted, I'll be honest with you too, 73, my first year, it was a 5-game league championship series. To get to the World Series, you had to win 3 out of 5. Now, of course, where you have the extra games. First game of the World Series, what's the big deal? Because it was so much pressure to get there.
Yeah.
You know,
it is
the 5-game series to get the World Series, that it was like whole hum when the World Series started against the Mets. But it was a lot of fun. But when I was traded over, first thing I thought was, why now? Why not in 72? I'm traded after they just won because nobody was thinking about repeating. But I remember talking to Dick Green, spring training about 10 days ago when I was traded. I said, Greeny, everybody's coming lackadaisical. What is he? He said, no, we're ready. We know we're going to win our division. You need to do that?
No.
Okay.
It's 10-0.
That's right. And you can see it anyway, fans.
Exactly. It's right there.
Right. I told that to late Bob Feller one time in Cleveland. I said, hey, just talk, Bob. I mean, people can see what's going on. But Dick Green said it, and for someone who came from Cleveland, and we knew opening day we were in last place, going to be there the whole season. But Greeny said, we're going to play somebody from the Eastern Division. We're going to beat them, go to the World Series, going to win the World Series. I went, wow. And it was exactly like he said.
That's what you do, right?
Yeah, it's exactly what he did. And see, for the players who played for the A's during that period of time, with the late, great Charlie Finley, that was our raise. You know,
to play for it, right?
Charlie would say, you're going to win the World Series, there's your raise. You know, there was no arbitration at the time. It just was coming into play. And
we've seen some of those rings. He spoiled you guys rotten.
Well, the 72. 72.
So he finally stepped it up when you showed up.
No, they went down. They went backwards. See, unfortunately, in 73, in 73, when he ended up going to the World Series, what Charlie had said after the 72 season, he said, if you guys win it again, I'll put those rings to shame from the 72.
Wow.
Fast forward, we go to New York to play the Mets. And you know, Blummer, when you go out on the line, you're in a visiting park, you're thinking the only people there, your families, are going to be cheering for you.
Yep.
So we line up on the third base line at Shea Stadium, and we're looking around. Where are our families? They're in the upper deck.
No way.
The nosebleed section. It was raining.
Oh,
Charlie said, I forgot to give the good tickets to the family. Forgot. He had all his people down below.
There was only one game going on at that time of the year.
Yeah, I know. But, you know, the unfortunate thing that happened in Game 2 here, though, that really kind of led into all that was Mike Andrews.
Yeah.
When he made the 2 errors, and he and Dick Williams, I mean,
he brought him over,
He
right?
brought him over. Great friends from the 67 unbelievable team in Boston. Mike makes the 2 errors, and Charlie wanted to release him because he said he's hurt. He can't play. We were in.
We're going to have to continue this.
Yeah.
Emilio Pagan all of a sudden is retired 8 in a row as the Astros continue this 10-0 lead to the bottom of the 4th. through 74. Oakland A's had a 3.04 starter ERA, and that led the American League. Greg Fossey joins us in the booth. That was quite a group to catch.
Wow. I mean, there's a story about Catfish, but I'm going to finish about Charlie first of all. Because Charlie, when Mike Andrews made the 2 errors, we were getting ready to go to New York because you fly after the game, as you guys know, and so we're ready to go. So where's Mike Andrews? They said Charlie just released him. And the players, how about that play? The players, you talk about revolting. We're saying, what's going on? He said, and as it turned out, they wanted to try to, of course, the commissioner would not allow it. We go to New York for the off day. We're all wearing armbands with number 17 on.
Are you serious?
For Mike Andrews.
For Mike Andrews. In New York on the biggest stage.
The entire team.
Everybody.
Wow.
He tried to have him sign something that said he was injured, so he would get him off the roster?
Yeah, Charlie didn't like that. That we all were number 17, as you can well imagine. And so that coincidentally, he forgot to give our families the right tickets, and they're in the 3rd deck. You know, and this kind of all played, you know, that. But, you know, Charlie was great. And I will say, Charlie Finley knew how to, you know, he had nobody in the front office. And he called somebody and say, hey, what do you think about Nick Davalillo? Oh, he's a great player. If you get a chance to get it, next day he's on the ball club. I mean, that's how good he was in talking and picking the brains of different people. But you know, that shot you showed of Catfish Hunter striking out Joe Ferguson, that was game 1 of the World Series, 74. In today's world, when you see all the relievers and starters, the A's had 9 pitchers in the World Series roster.
Wow.
Used only 5.
9 total.
9 total.
Only
used only 5. Only used 5. Catfish in the game 1 of the World Series in Los Angeles. The Kenny Holt.
Garrett Cole might try and take this himself.
He should. He's an athlete, isn't he?
He's a pitcher.
No, he's an athlete. That's what they should do.
Spoken like a true catcher.
But with Catfish, I mean, he was outstanding. He never shook off a catcher. I asked him one time, I said, why don't you ever shake me off? He said, why should I? You know these hitters better than I do. And I said, okay, and he never did. It's just one of those things. But this right here, Kenny Holtzman started game 1 of the World Series, 4 1/3 innings. Raleigh Fingers came in, pitched 4 1/3.
Wow.
I look in the bullpen, Catfish is throwing. He had just won the game in Baltimore to take us to the World Series. I thought he was in the bullpen getting loose for his next start. Lo and behold, Alvin Dark comes out, he brings him in. And Joe Ferguson, he strikes him out for the final out. So it's 4 1/3, 4 1/3, Catfish gets the save. I thought he was just throwing, and he brought him in. Wes Stock, who was our great pitching coach, about 4 years ago, I was telling a story. He says, that's not what happened. He said, Alvin Dark said, I need somebody to get the final out of the game. Catfish tapped him on the shoulder and said, I'll get it for you. And at Dodger Stadium, you can go underneath.
Yeah, they had that tunnel. He went all the way around.
He went all the way to the bullpen. We didn't even know it. He's down the bullpen throwing. And I'm looking at him, so what is this? Well, he had told Alvin Dark. He comes in the game, strikes out Joe Ferguson. I said, you got to be kidding me. But that was a story that I thought for many, many years that he was just throwing. But he had gone to Alvin Dark and said, I'll get you the final.
Wow.
So, I mean, it was.
That's pretty cool.
But, I mean, you think about the last team to have 3 20-game winners was a 73 team. 73 Oakland A's. And, of course, now everybody talks 200 innings. And I mean, first of all, you have a 4-man rotation then compared to 5 now, maybe longer than that or more than that. But no, it was a lot of fun to go from a team that perennial losers to a team that won, and then I go back to Cleveland. But the interesting thing, and what your players probably experiencing right now, it's fun to come to the park. And I remember playing for the A's, going back to Cleveland, and there was a particular relief pitcher of all people said in a meeting, maybe we're out here too long. We're coming out here taking too much BP. And I said, that's the difference. When you win, you can't wait to get to the park.
Absolutely.
When you lose, you don't want to go to the park. And, that's the biggest difference. And I said, it's unfortunate having experienced both sides. But, when you win, and, I don't, you're talking about off days, there's a record that will never be broken, Cal Ripken Jr., with the consecutive games played.
Yep.
And I didn't know personally that I had started the first 50 games of the 1973 season behind the plate.
Wow.
I didn't know that until Jason Kendall came, and he, of course, was catching every day. And they had a little box in the side, and it said most consecutive games caught to start a season. And I was listed. I said, I didn't know that. But, again, you're winning.
Yeah.
And that's all part of it. And I think that's what it's about. And that's what is good about watching the Astros. I mean, this is.
I mean, what do you see from the Houston Astros that impresses you that they might be able to pull this thing off?
I see a team that gained confidence last year.
Yep.
And that coming in, you add Verlander, you get this guy Garrett Cole, and you're going, wait a minute, you're already world champions. But now you're just adding to it. But the position players, just watch it. The Springer play in the first inning, that set up a 3-run inning by him hustling to second. And as it turned out with Altuve swinging, running out of the batter's box at his speed anyway, that slight look at second by Chapman allowed Springer to make it. Altuve beats it out, and there's first and second, and then everything opens up.
Everybody's hitting today, so Justin Verlander grabbed the bat.
You know what A.J. Hinch said about him last year, and you guys know. But when you acquired him, he said that he told Justin, I didn't know I was getting more players than just you. Because the way he stayed in the dugout.
High fly ball deep to center, and Jake Marisnick watches this go. That's a 3-run home run by Steven Piscotty, and all of a sudden, the A's put 3 on the board against Garrett Cole. That matches the most runs Cole has allowed this year, and it's now a 10-3 game. One swing matches the most runs he's allowed all year.
Well, that was the bad part from the A's standpoint, to see that score go up in the first inning and then the second inning, figuring with Cole on the mound that's going to happen. But hey, you know, the thing that, of course, Max Stassi acquired from fastball right down the middle.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and you're throwing, I mean,
ball seems to be carrying a little bit tonight, too.
Well, it's a warmer night. It was warm in the East Bay, about 97, 98. You come here, it's a little cooler, but by comparison, this is a very nice weather. But one thing that Cole has been doing has been pitching his normal game, even with the 10-0 lead.
Yeah, that's what's interesting about Garrett Cole. Even though with that big lead, he is still going out and being Garrett Cole. He doesn't want to deviate from that game plan.
And this probably really upset him. They gave up a 3-run home run.
Now a little punch shot. Altuve goes back and leaps and makes the catch. Jose Altuve. Garrett Cole gives up the 3-run home run, but Altuve gets him out of the inning. We are through 4 with the Astros leading 10-3.
I'm okay.
Ever battery trade 2 in career. If you know who that Astro is, make sure you tweet it at ATT Sportsnet SW. Later in this ball game, we'll reveal that answer.
The inning started with a misplay by Carlos Correa that was ruled a hit, and then it ended with a really nice play by his double play partner.
Yeah, some elevated Willie Mays Hayes over the top of his shoulder there.
Well, especially with Lucroy hitting, you know, I'm sure, you know, when Chad Pinder faces the Rangers and Cole Hamels on the mound, he owns him. He's at home runs. Cole Hamels got him out. You can see him go, finally, I got him out, you know. So Altuve, I'm sure, get a nice dinner from Mr. Cole. This is fun, guys. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
We mentioned the Correa play because last night he was charged with his first error.
That's
broke a 70-game streak on a tougher play than the one that started that inning, and actually That non-error this inning that was called a hit is going to cost Garrett Cole 3 earned runs.
Yeah, and, you know, unfortunately, there are times with the shifts, and you guys probably shift as much, if not more than anybody.
The most.
And you get guys out of position. And, you know, I heard someone say that, well, Correa just 2 steps to his left. He had to sprint to his left, you know, so it wasn't an easy play. But I think a lot of times official scores go by the book to the point that, hey, they got the glove on it, it's an error. Give me a break. I mean, you got to figure the situations, you know. But now Correa's you've got some good players. I mean, there's some great players on this team. And, you know, I think if you look at what the Royals did with their bullpen and winning in, what, 15?
Yep.
Yeah, 15. Then everybody said, we're going to increase our bullpen. What the Astros did in losing, what, 111 as recently as 13, 14. You lose over 100 games.
Well, that's when
you know, and it was called the Astros, and now nobody's calling them the Astros anymore. But you build within the system, and you get young players, and what the Astros did in the offseason in acquiring Josh Reddick and McCann and Carlos Beltran.
Marwin hits one hard the other way, but played by Canna and left. All of a sudden, Emilio Pagan, Foss, has put restored order to this game for the A's.
You know, and nothing against Emilio. He's a good pitcher. We saw him with Seattle, as you guys did. But when you're down 10-0, it's a difference. And you know, again, nothing against him. I'm happy he did it. But you put guys in situations where the score is a little bit tighter. You know, you have different types. But I'm not saying the Astros had just quit. They've been trying to hit. But Pagan is a good pitcher. And maybe this is a game from the A standpoint that will help him.
And it was a tough spot for Paul Blackburn. He's still building into his pitch count, facing this team. And you guys had, through injuries, kind of forced him to rush along in his return.
In his last start, he was supposed to be on rehab. And he went well, pitched well against Kansas City, and 12 ground ball outs, but tonight, totally different. And, you know, just like Sean and I had a great month of April, pitched his no-hitter. He was horrible in the month of May. And so those things do happen. But, you know, it's, you know, back to the thing about repeating, man. I think of Derek Jeter in his great career. I think only 2 years in 20 that he didn't play in postseason. And so, you know.
It's just not fair.
Yeah, I know, if you think about it, though, but it's like, what do I do? I'm not playing in October. But you play this game to play in October.
Yeah.
And even if you play to the end, what was your last game on November 1st last year?
Yep.
Okay. And spring training started what? February?
Earlier than ever.
Yeah, a little bit earlier.
But you still had 3 months off. November, December, January. And because you did play late, a manager, Joe Madden did it when the Rays went against the Phillies. You take it a little bit easier on the starter pitchers, and you know you can spring training's long anyway, so you have the ability and the luxury to be able to say, okay, you guys are going to rest, and we're going to take it a little bit easy. But you know, to win and say, oh, we've won it, you know, we're just too tired to win it again. I mean, to me, that's just not the right way to think about it. But that's where I see you guys, the Astros, being the type of team's going to say, yeah, we and the thing is, you enjoy it so much.
Yeah.
You know,
they have fun playing the game.
That's right, and you want to do it again. And you know, to be able to do it once, you know, you did it.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Did everybody talk about you hitting home run against this team?
You got to keep bringing that up, don't you? Man, oh man, was having such a good night, Ray.
Well, you know, I will say this with Todd, his father. We had him in the booth. Oh, what a great.
Absolutely.
Oh, he was fabulous.
Thanks,
fabulous. And you know,
and we've lucked out getting Todd in our booth now.
Yeah, exactly.
So we get to enjoy that legacy carried on.
Exactly. But you know, to have Harry Kalas sit there and Glenn Kuiper sit, he sat in this chair. Right? You know, cool. And I joke. I said, how many takes? He goes, what? I mean, just look at the script and boom, one take. And we played it again last year in Philadelphia, which was great because the A's going back to Philadelphia.
Well, Foss, it was 10-0 when you got here, and your team scored 3, and we got nothing.
Yeah, we've had enough.
We got to get rid of you. Thank you, buddy.
It's always great seeing you when you come through.
Appreciate it.
Sorry you didn't get to go to the other side.
I know, not this time. Maybe next time.
Hey, anytime, guys. Fun. A lot of fun.
Bottom of the 5th, 10-3. Garrett Cole will face the top of the order for the A's for the third time. Dustin Fowler swings and fouls one in the screen. Fowler is flied to left and struck out. Thank Ray Fosse, A's color analyst on TV and radio for over 30 years, for joining us in the fourth and top half of the fifth inning. Fowler the other way. Reddick was shaded way towards the line. He has a long run, but he'll catch up to it with Jake Marisnick backing him up just in case. Reddick makes the play for out one in the fifth.
Ray's good people. He's always a lot of fun to talk to when we do come through the Bay Area. He has got stories for days. And we do know about the infamous All-Star game also.
Yep.
But we love Ray so much that we'll just let that one lie because everybody talks about it pretty much. We want to celebrate some of the good times he did have in the big leagues, and back-to-back championships here in Oakland are pretty impressive.
No doubt about it. The Pete Rose collision is something he talks about throughout a lot of interviews he's granted in his career, but tonight was more about talking about relating the A's run to the Astros run. And
well, we talked about the World Series ring previously, and then the back-to-back opportunity, and he actually brought that up when we first got here when I was talking to him, commenting about this team being young, talented, hungry, and the way they go about playing the game. He was really impressed. So some more interesting topics to talk to Ray about.
Garrett Cole works with one out in the fifth inning. Last night I was kind of hoping that the official scorer would charge that ground ball by Chris Davis and turn it into a hit, because not only because Correa had the errorless streak going, because I legitimately thought it was a hit. It was a tough play up the middle. Tonight I thought that was going to be an error when I first saw it, and then as it turns out, if it was charged an error, it's the difference between 3 unearned runs on Garrett Cole's ledger or 3 earned runs. As of now, it's ruled a hit, and they're all 3 earned runs as Cole walked Marcus Semien and allowed a 3-run home run to Stephen Piscotty. That's how the A's scored their 3. Past Cole, but right there is Altuve. Canna busting it down the line, but he is out number 2. This Father's Day, give Dad the gift of baseball with MLB.tv. Watch baseball live or on demand on his favorite supported devices. Save 50% now through Father's Day. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. So now Correa and Altuve will shift to the right side. Altuve a little further deep and over with Jed Lowry batting. Astros employ the shift on their former teammate. Lowry 1 for 2 with a double. He's going to try and bunt against the shift, and he bunts it in front of the plate. Stassi out there in a hurry, makes a good play to end the inning. Lowry trying to beat the shift, and it didn't work out for him. A 1-2-3 inning.
Trying to beat the shift in a 7-run game. Stassi said, not tonight.
I like it. and by Ram Trucks, built to serve. Astros scored 10 runs with the first 16 batters of this game. Since then, they have been retired 11 straight. George Springer leads off the 6th and fouls one back against Liam Hendricks. Hendricks came on in the 5th, had a 1-2-3 inning. Emilio Pagan struggled when he started the outing, as he was the first man out of the bullpen, gave up a 3-run home run and a solo home run, but then he retired the next 8, striking out 5. And now Hendricks on for his 2nd inning of work. George down to the count 0-2. Well, Fosse mentioned it. Ray Fosse joining us in the 4th and the top half of the 5th inning, how it's a little different animal when you come in out of the bullpen in a 10-0 game. Is it hard to keep that laser focus as an offense when you have such a big lead?
No, because I say it all the time. You got to be greedy. Go out there and get your numbers. If you have an opportunity to pump up your stats, and you can go back 6-7 days ago when the Astros went through that tough stretch, going through Boston, New York. Seattle was even in the mix, playing extremely good baseball. Cleveland, you really battled and grinded through some of those at-bats, and you snuck out some 1-for-4s, maybe some 0-for-3s with a walk, and now you've got an opportunity to get some knocks and start trying to drive the ball out of the ballpark. You go for it. And especially when you get those hits in the first AB or so, get that 1-for-1 out of the way, you're feeling a little bit comfortable, seeing the ball good. And like Ray said, the ball's flying out of here tonight, it feels like, if you elevate. So sit back and take a chance on a pitch if you're feeling pretty good about it. But get those numbers when you can.
George grounds one towards 3rd. Wrong guy catches it on Matt Chapman. Very steady at 3rd base. And there's one out in the 6th inning. 12 in a row sent down now by A's relievers. I'll bring up Jose Altuve. Single, walk, couple of runs, and a fly out for Altuve. Jose with that batting average at .337. Mookie Betts and Gene Segura, the only 2 in the American League with a higher batting average. Altuve takes a pitch for a ball. Astros scored 3 in the 1st inning and sent 10 men to the plate in the 2nd and scored 7 in that inning. They scored all 7 in the 2nd inning with only 1 out recorded by the A's. A lot of foul territory here, and making an attempt at the last second was Matt Olson in the camera well, but he couldn't quite get there.
It's amazing he went that far and had an opportunity to even make a play on it. I think he got glove on it just in front of that camera well. They've actually extended a couple of those dugout boxes down there and the camera wells to get some more seating down there. Luckily. On our matches from Supermo, you can see Olson creeping towards that photographer's box and just out of the reach. You run for that long, the internal sensors start going off saying you should be running into something pretty quick.
Yeah, I mentioned it last night, by far the largest foul territory in any stadium in baseball. Raiders share the Oakland Coliseum with the A's, and there is a long way to go from the dugout all the way to first base on the other side of the 3rd.
Got to be able to buy or you have to go out and buy a new lens if you're going to be a photographer here.
Yeah, you're right.
My goodness.
3-1 pitch is another long run for Olson, but this one's fouled back near that fan in the rainbow jersey. Now the count's 3-2.
Got to go out and get that Hubble telescope lens.
Brownie would need an extended lens because he's done a little photography at Minute Maid Park, but a whole different ball game here. There you go, Blummer.
Man. Yeah, just roll in and go. Give me the biggest one you've got. About to shoot some baseball games at Oakland Coliseum.
Altuve fouls one past Gary Pettis. Last time we were in town, Gary's son Dante was in town, shagging a few fly balls in the outfield. Dante drafted by the San Francisco 49ers. Proud moment for Gary and the entire Pettis family, and he's about to embark on his NFL career.
Yeah, there's a good chance he's going to be up in the Bay Area quite a bit, at least 8 times this season.
Altuve fails to swing. Liam Hendriks can't believe it. He thought he had struck out the AL MVP. The fans here not too happy with the call, but Altuve draws a walk. Join the Astros at Minute Maid Park Friday, June 22nd as they take on the Royals. 10,000 fans in attendance will receive an Astros fedora presented by Goya. For more information and tickets, visit astros.com/promotions. Here is Carlos Correa, who styled that fedora in his big league debut, heading into U.S. Cellular Field in Chicago for that debut a few years ago. Carlos has walked, tripled in 2 runs, and struck out. Takes a called strike. The walk by Altuve, the first batter to reach base for the Astros since the Marwin Gonzalez home run back in the 2nd inning. Correa down on the count, 0-2. Carlos coming back last night, returned with a couple of hits and a walk. So he has been on base 5 times in this series as he fouls one out of play. We showed you the RBI race earlier with everybody bunched up. It got even tighter after Evan Gattis drove in 3 with that home run. Gattis now at 41, tied with Springer, just 1 behind Correa.
Yeah, he's kind of exploded onto the scene, hasn't he?
Bounces blocked by Lucroy. It's 1-2. Now, there was a while there where Evan was right around 8th or 9th on the team in the 1st or 2nd week of May, and he is now shot up all the way to a tie for 2nd, 1 behind the leader Correa. The lucky hoodie.
Don't leave home without it.
Dick might be in the 90s or at least upper 80s in Kansas City. See if Evan goes hoodie or no hoodie as well as he's been going. We did finally see him in that Sunday game in Texas go without the hoodie.
There's no way you can do it in Kansas City.
See.
Muggy.
2-pitch chop. That's foul. Chapman makes the play anyhow, and Olson's going to chase it, but that is a foul ball. So we'll do it all again at 2-2 to Correa.
Everybody's going to mosey their way back into position. Jose Altuve is going to wander back to first. Carlos Correa is going to take a little bit of a breather getting back to that batter's box. It's an interesting stretch for the Houston Astros, but it's good to see them going out putting up big numbers. Beat up on those teams that you know you can beat up on. We really didn't have a chance to really explain how A.J. Hinch has done a pretty good job, like Ray was talking about, in spring training, and really stretching these guys out, not thrusting them back into game ready type situations. He gave those starting rotation guys plenty of time to work their way in. A lot of the guys in that starting 9, plenty of time to get their ABs in.
It was well documented on our early spring training broadcast on AT&T Sportsnet, because we saw a lot of the minor leaguers in those early games back in late February and early March. 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Hendricks strikes out Correa. First strikeout for Liam Hendriks, 2 outs in the inning.
No Player Does More is presented by HEB. Gave some numbers on past first baseman since 2013, and a bunch of names that ran through there until Yuli Gurriel showed up. Came in as a third baseman, now moves across to first base with the appearance of Alex Bregman, and he has done some phenomenal work. We knew he could hit, and he has lived up to that reputation of being able to drive the ball all over the ballpark, get that high average, slugging percentage at .459. The number that I like the most are those bottom two, the 90 RBIs and the 85 runs.
Yuli with a 2-for-3 game tonight is over 300 now at 302.
And those are some of the names the Astros had to run through trying to have a little bit of a holding place. There were opportunities for young men like A.J. Reed, John Singleton to have an opportunity. Unable to follow through on that promise. And with the draft of Alex Bregman and willingness to move to third base, moved Yuli across the diamond, and that's been a great move. Both defensively, you talked about all the picks over there, but it's also been great offensively because those are two potent bats at the corners for the Houston Astros.
Sometime in that homestand, he should move to #1 on that list in games played at first. Astros have a long homestand coming up after this weekend series in Kansas City. Yuli up the middle has his third hit of the game. He is 3 for 4 tonight and 9 for his last 14. Yuli continues to roll. Even last night when he went 2 for 5, a couple of line drive outs in that game.
That's what is very unique about Yuli Gurriel, is that when he is going very well, he can pretty much muscle the baseball back up the middle of the diamond no matter where it is. Inside, outside. It's really been the big part of the ballpark for him, is back up the middle.
Since his birthday, he has been unbelievable. 2 hits on his birthday, 4 hits the next day, 2 hits last night, and 3 hits tonight.
Number 22, Josh Reddick.
12 hits in 4 games since his birthday.
He should have more birthdays.
Wow.
He's a pretty good hitter for an old guy, according to Alex Bregman.
12 for 19. That's Tuve-like. Started to hit like Tuve on one of those 20 at-bat runs. Well, this is the stadium where Altuve was on first and was basically bowing in honor of George Springer with that 6-hit game, and now he's watching Altuve, or watching Yuli do Altuve type things with a 13 for 19 his last 4 games. They're 12 for 19, excuse me. 10-3 game. Josh Reddick bats with 2 on and 2 outs.
The Astros do like hitting against the Oakland A's, especially this season. Coming into this game, and these numbers are going to jump a little bit. They were averaging 7 runs a game, averaging 2 home runs a game. And they had 31 extra base hits in those games, in those 7 previous games. Those numbers are going to continue to expand against Oakland A's pitching.
Gave Yuli 1 extra hit. He's 11 for 18, not 12 for 19.
Oh, he's terrible.
11
That's
for
a huge
18
difference,
since
Todd.
his birthday. Trying to do some quick math, and I added 1 more for Lapina. My birthday gift to him. Everybody loves that guy.
Yeah, they do.
He is a huge favorite in that clubhouse. 2-2 the count to Reddick. Josh has a single and 3 at bats, and he goes down swinging. Well, Liam Hendricks picks up a couple of strikeouts in the inning. We head to the bottom of the 6th, 10-3. Of the 6th inning, Garrett Cole back out there working with a big lead. He was able to get a 1-2-3 inning in the 5th against the top of the A's order. Now he'll face the cleanup hitter Chris Davis to start the 6th inning. Davis, first pitch swinging, sends one deep to right field, and this ball is gone. That's a home run for Davis, his 18th of the season. And tonight will be the most runs that Garrett Cole has allowed in the start with the Astros, as he has given up 4 now. It's a 10-4 game.
Now, we've seen a lot of Chris Davis over the years, and he has pretty good pop to all fields. I would say mostly to right field. Very good at hitting the opposite field home run. Even though he steps in the bucket, able to create a ton of strength going the other way with that swing, and he ambushed that fastball up and away from Garrett Cole.
First time for Garrett to allow as many as 4 runs, and now he'll face Matt Olson. A's also has 6 hits. And even though these don't sound like gaudy numbers, that's also the most hits allowed by Garrett Cole in any start as an Astro. The other time a team had 6 hits against Cole was the Oakland A's back on April 29th. Game that Cole struck out 12 but gave up 6 hits in 6 2/3 innings. Fastball misses. Not by much. It's 2-1.
Yeah, that wasn't a terrible fastball. And there's no reason to be alarmed with those numbers that Todd's throwing out there. It's just an evening where he's pitching and having a lot of delayed time sitting in that dugout waiting to get back on the mound because the Astros are putting together some big ABs and big numbers.
Throw a change up there?
I believe so.
2-2 the count. Doesn't throw a lot of them. He was working on it the other day out in the outfield with Justin Verlander and Dallas Keuchel. Ground ball towards Yuli on 2 hops. He'll flip it to Cole covering. Matt Olson retired for the first out. Speaking of Yuli,
this is back in Arlington.
Gave him a birthday cake over the weekend. Yuli was very proud until he saw that it said happy 40th.
Yeah, then it kind of spiraled out of control a little bit. And Yuli was like, hey, hey, hey.
He's like, who did that, you?
Very funny.
Altuve right there. Yuli, actually 34 years old, told Julie after the game on Sunday he feels like he's 25.
The way he's swinging it like a 25-year-old.
11 for 18 since that birthday. 2-0 the count to Matt Chapman. Chapman has struck out and popped up. 2 home runs for the A's tonight, accounting for all 4 of their runs. Solo shot by Chris Davis and a 3-run home run by Stephen Piscotty. In both cases, it was Cole trying to get ahead with a fastball. Piscotty was a 1-1 count, and Davis was a first pitch ambush.
And again, sometimes you go out and face guys like a Garrett Cole and you pick on one pitch because you can't sit on fastball, curveball, slider from a guy like Garrett Cole. So if you are sitting on that fastball, like it seems like some of these hitters are, and you get it, I say it all the time with the Astros too, is if you get that pitch you're looking for, you don't want to miss it. And unfortunately for Garrett Cole, they have squared a couple of them up, led to some of those runs. But if you're going to do it on a night where your own offense puts up 10. Wow.
3-1 pitch just missed, ball 4.
Speaking of Yuli, join the Astros at Minute Maid Park on Saturday, June 23rd as they take on the Royals. 10,000 fans in attendance will receive a Yuli gnome with troll hair. For more information and tickets, visit astros.com/promotions.
Marcus Semien drew the other walk issued by Cole. Garrett's allowed 2 walks tonight. He has struck out 5, but has not struck out a batter since the first out of the 3rd inning. He had recorded 5 consecutive outs, last out of the 1st, all the way through the first out of the 3rd via strikeout. But none since, although he's ahead 0-2 on Semien, who has singled, walked, and scored a run. Cole started the first game of this road trip against the Rangers on Thursday. Garrett will also start the first game of the upcoming 9-game homestand. That'll be Monday, the 18th against Tampa Bay. Nationals will be home for a long stretch heading into the All-Star game. They'll be home for a 9-game homestand, gone for 6, and then home for a 10-game homestand. So 19 out of 25 going into the All-Star break after this road trip, which is their longest of the year. 2-2 the count. Team has won 6 in a row, matching their season high. A chance to win their 7th straight tonight with a big lead. And this is the only team they're facing on this road trip and until the All-Star break with a winning record, the Oakland A's.
For the time being.
3-2. Garrett wants to try and lock things in here. He felt like he missed on a couple of close pitches walking Chapman. And he was ahead 0-2 on Semien and missed with the next 3. Does not want to add any more base runners here. Breaking ball popped up, playable. Marwin Gonzalez in foul territory. Puts it away for out number 2.
The Astros road ahead is driven by DeMontronRV.com. One more here tomorrow afternoon in Oakland before hopping on a bird and going to Kansas City to face the Kansas City Royals. And then Todd's old team comes into town. Tampa Bay Rays for 3 games, a day off in between on that Thursday, which is quite nice. And then they finish off the tail end of June with the Kansas City Royals, Toronto Blue Jays, and then head out to Tampa Bay. So a much more favorable schedule for the Houston Astros.
And this was the part of the schedule after that stretch where they faced the 4 teams back to back to back to back that would also be in the postseason if this season ended right now. And that was Cleveland, New York, Boston, and then Seattle. And after that stretch, facing just 1 team with a winning record for over a month. And as Blummer said, the A's just barely over 500 at a game over. Here's the guy that did the damage to Cole to start the scoring, a 3-run home run, Stephen Piscotty. Garrett ahead of him here, 1-2. Will Harris loosening up in the Astros bullpen, and with Garrett approaching 100 pitches, this very well could be Cole's last inning. Swing and a miss. Cole, if it is his final inning, wraps it up with a strikeout. Strikeout number 6. And it's a 10-4 Astros lead. single by Yuli Gurriel, scoring both George Springer and Jose Altuve. And it continued with 7 more in the second inning. Carlos Correa would triple in a couple.
Yeah, it's been RBIs aplenty, especially for that guy right there. The caveman getting after it. Bare mitts, raking balls out of the ballpark, and then Marwin with the Oppo Taco on a Wednesday evening here in Oakland has been nice to see. The Astros putting up 10 runs on 11 hits. Evan Gattis leading the way with 4 RBIs. Yuli Gurriel has 3 himself. We talked about those RBI numbers bunching together for the Astros. A lot of guys getting a lot of big hits with guys on base.
Garrett Cole giving high fives in the dugout after that inning, and apparently his night will be over. He will leave with a big lead here as Evan Gattis will lead things off. It'll be Gattis, Marwin Gonzalez, and Max Stassi, and Evan Gattis has done it again, deep to left field. This ball is gone. Evan Gattis, his 2nd home run of the game, his 5th RBI of the game. He matches his career high on back-to-back nights. And that makes the AL MVP crack up because the caveman is red hot.
Man, oh man. The beard is strong with that one.
My goodness, he just matched Carlos Correa for the team high in RBI.
So if he matched his career high from last night, these 2 nights have been pretty impressive. 10 RBIs. One person.
One guy with 10 runs batted in 2 nights who never had more than 4 runs batted in any game in his major league career before last night. My goodness, you need to interview him more often.
Either that or I need to start charging.
Our interview Gattis. Gattis before the game yesterday, in case you weren't with us on the broadcast. And since then he has 3 home runs, a double, and 10 RBIs. What'd you do?
Pumped him up.
Got some secret sauce in that interview. Here's Marwin batting right-handed. Marwin hit a home run left-handed earlier tonight. Broadcast partners accomplished that. Home runs lefty and righty in the same game. Marwin doesn't have any right-handed home runs yet this year. He went back-to-back with Evan back in the 2nd.
Do it. Why not?
There's a called strike.
Has Marwin ever done that in his career? From both sides of the plate? You can probably ask internally.
We'll have to do some research.
It's a good feeling.
Who'd you get?
I did it. No, he's not going to get it. We'll take a look back at Evan Gattis and his bomb. Another one on our Matches from Supermo. You can see elevated, and that's where the big man likes to go after it. He actually got a little bit quick because that was a blast and it got out of here. But it wasn't one of those prodigious bombs that we're used to seeing from Evan Gattis, especially recently. Got a little in on the label a little bit. But when you're as strong as he is, and you can just muscle that thing out, things are going good.
He played 634 games prior to last night and had a career high of 4 runs batted in. 634 big league games, and then in games 635 and 636 he ends up with a new career mark at RBIs in both games.
It's just what he does now. He's a new player.
All right, who'd you get? Your start.
First time was in Montreal against.
So you did them multiple times?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I did it against the Florida Marlins. I want to say Reed Cornelius. No, Chucky Smith. Chucky Smith was the first one left-handed on a curveball, and the next one might have been Jesus Sanchez, a left-handed pitcher.
Wow.
And then I did it in Arlington as a Tampa Bay Ray. You may have witnessed it.
I think I did.
I got
Erasmo Ramirez.
Erasmo Ramirez was the right-handed home run, and Chan-Ho Park was the
there you go
left-handed home run.
And Erasmo Ramirez, not the guy we have seen more recently in Seattle, Tampa Bay. He was the lefty pitching for the Rangers then. So you've done it twice.
Yes. And as long as I'm tooting my own horn, and can be pretty good at that sometimes. At the time, I was only the 10th player in Major League history to do it in both leagues.
There you go.
So that was kind of cool at the time. And I think immediately after that, Carlos Beltran did it, and he became the 11th.
That's a pretty cool note.
Yeah.
3-1 the count. Daniel Coulombe coming in to pitch this inning after Emilio Pagan and Liam Hendricks were very good. At least Pagan was after a couple of solo home runs. He then retired 8 straight. And Hendricks, a couple of innings of shutout baseball. But now Coulombe was allowed a home run, a walk, and he's 3-1 on Max Stassi. Stassi into left center field. Coming on is Fowler, and he makes the catch. That'll send Marwin back to first. Well hit by Stassi, but run down by Dustin Fowler.
This week on Astros Bases Loaded, Alex Bregman shares his passion for the game. The Express gets a spot on the Houston Sports Walk of Fame, and you'll meet the Astros' first-round draft pick. All that and more on Astros Bases Loaded tonight after the postgame show, only on AT&T Sportsnet.
Getting a lot of Captain Cavemans on Twitter.
He's a popular guy. Bringing him back.
The beard. Evan Gattis has been incredible in this series with 10 runs batted in. Here's Jake Marisnick, 1 for 3 with a double. Two 2-0 the count. Coulombe struggling a little bit with his command. So May 2nd, thanks to a couple people on Twitter, of last year.
Saw that too.
Against the Texas Rangers. Marwin hit a solo home run in the 5th, batting right-handed, and then the grand slam.
That was a big night.
That was the night Brownie was in the booth.
It was a little bit of a season changer at the moment with that grand slam of Keona Kela. And you're right, sitting next to Brownie in that ball game.
Marwin hasn't done too bad here against Oakland this year either. He's got 3 home runs in 6 games himself and 10 RBIs in those games and hitting over 400. Coulombe, after falling behind the last 3 batters, walks 2 of them. Stassi lined out to center. So 2 on with 1 out, and Jonathan Lucroy did not anticipate this is how he would spend his 32nd birthday, down 11-4 in the 7th inning. Out to visit with the pitcher. And back we go to the top of the order for George Springer. George 1 for 4, single, run scored, 2 groundouts and a strikeout. Astros have 12 hits. A's pitching has also allowed 5 walks. And that's a strike. George batting for the 5th time in this game, and we're only in the 7th. He had a 6 AB game against the A's not too long ago here and had 6 hits. Prompted Jose Altuve to say, that is crazy. You get 6
when you shock a guy that gets 200+ hits a year, you're doing something good.
I mean, how can you get 6 hits? That was one of our Twitter polls during this last homestand, is Altuve's reaction to that, or the home run celebration when all the guys vacated the dugout, gave him the silent treatment. That one won. The silent treatment won the Altuve reaction. 1-1 pitch is down, 2-1. Only 91.64 in attendance tonight. They have not watched many A's highlights, although they have seen a couple of home runs, as Garrett Cole will leave with 6 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, 2 home runs. Right now, all of those runs are earned. They changed that play to an error on Correa, then only one of them would be earned, but Nonetheless, the 4 runs either way will be the most allowed by Garrett in his Astros career. Another 3-1 count. Coulomb really struggling with the strike zone, has thrown 14 pitches out of the strike zone of 19 deliveries. Make it 15 out of 20. The bases are loaded, all with walks. Jonathan Lucroy looks into the dugout and says we may need another meeting, so Scott Emerson trots out. Not a comfortable feeling in this game with a 7-run lead when your pitcher can't throw strikes. Coulomb walking 3 in this inning.
There's still plenty of game left. Not sure who has the best arm as far as position players for Bob Melvin on that ball club, but may have to investigate.
It's not like Coulomb's really struggled with his command before this game. He only walked 8 coming in 22 innings. But tonight, it's not been easy for him to find the strike zone, and now the bases are loaded for Jose Altuve. Now he finds the strike zone. 0-1 to Altuve. Jose's been on base 3 times, singled 2 walks. He's also flied out. A lot of fans are sticking with us, according to Twitter.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
They like seeing all this offense.
And a ground ball towards second, could be 2. They flip it to second for 1. Altuve out. Barely at first base, trying to beat that return throw. So the Astros fail to score in the 7th on an inning-ending double play. A.J. Hinch wants to take a look at the video to see if Jose may have been safe, and he says go ahead to the 7th inning stretch, which we will, with the Astros leading 11-4, and we'll turn it over to Kevin Eschenfelder and Mike Stanton in our Rooms to Go lounge.
Chevy Stropole, thanks for voting. Thanks for following at ATT Sportsnet SW. We asked tonight which Astros development has been the most surprising in 2018. And look at Garrett Cole's strikeout rate. That is the big winner tonight. 60% catcher and DH production, coming in second with 35. We got lots of tweets on this one as well. People love Correa, but they say Correa gets better every year, so not really all that surprising. That was a tweet.
Yeah, I think the Garrett Cole call is a very good call, considering what we knew about his past, and then he showed up here and just been absolutely dominant.
Never averaged more than a strikeout per inning as Will Harris takes over on the mound, and Tony Kemp takes over at second base, giving Jose Altuve the rest of the night off.
It'll be the 29th appearance for Will Harris at whip at 1.39 and a great strikeout to walk ratio.
Good to have you back, Julie. We missed you for a couple of innings.
Hey.
We had Ray Fosse on.
I'm up to no good.
What?
What?
Oh, you know, stay tuned.
Wait a minute.
Stay tuned tonight.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
I'm working on some things.
I like it.
I got a different view of the game for a little bit. I was on the field at one point. You guys missed that?
Oh.
You were on the field?
Yeah.
We didn't see you.
We'll have to check the.
Didn't
So
we?
there's a
Stealth
teaser
like.
for tomorrow. So we'll find out where Julia may have been for the last inning or 2 or 3.
You guys are missing my Instagram stories. That's what it is.
Wait a
We're
minute.
trying to follow our fans on Twitter. Now we have to
Honestly.
follow your Instagram stories.
No.
You sent a story out recently?
Yeah.
Okay. Josh Begley, by the way, pinch hitting for Jonathan Lucroy, and he goes down swinging. Harris strikes out the first batter he faces. Hi,
I'm
Julia.
back, though. I am back.
Are you at least warm?
I got to see Gaddis hit his second home run of the night. No, I'm not warm. I'm never warm when we get here.
What's your rule, if you have one, for interviewing guys in back-to-back games?
So Gaddis and I are on this thing where if it's working, let's just keep doing it. So he actually came straight to me last night.
You didn't even ask for a guest.
I was in the area. I was waiting for the high fives to happen, and I was going after Gaddis, but he came straight to me. He was like, "If it's working, let's just keep doing this." So we did it. So I don't know. That's my rule.
So with Gaddis back-to-back, no problem.
No problem.
There you go.
We have just crushed Gaddis with post-game
know.
interviews lately. He's basically the face of the Astros post-game show.
Well, I want to know if he's looking more forward to the interview with you after this game, or he's going to get multiple hugs from
Tony.
Kemp, right?
Hugs for homers.
That's all, so a hug for every homer.
New program.
That's the thing that they've got going on. So I guess Tony didn't get a chance to give him his hug last night, so he decided to do it during the post-game
That was
interview.
great.
Ball sliced the other way by Dustin Fowler, but it is foul.
That's good stuff.
I see your scorecard. I'm now looking at your. Oh, I
You made
see
some
where
friends,
you
huh,
were.
Julia?
Wait, what did I do?
I'm looking at your Instagram
Yeah, we're
story.
finally going through Instagram here.
Oh, I thought you were looking at the picture on the screen. That was last night's interview.
Swing and a miss. Yeah, where Kemp just jumps on Oso Blanco, treats him like a tree. Good times. Are you the ultimate Southwest fan? Arkansas, June is your chance to show your spirit. Use hashtag UltimateSWFanArk on Twitter to show us, and you can win a VIP experience. So tweet now and win big. Oh, this is going to be cool. Can I give away a hint, Julia, where you were? No. Is it all secret?
She's got 1 billion followers.
Yeah, you can give away it.
All right, it involves the Legends race here. That's all I'll
So you're
say.
saying Julia is going to have a big head after this event?
You can't even be upset with that comment.
You're not going to be mad at me for that one?
You got to hang out with some of this crew, huh?
That's a fun crew.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Did you have an option on? You had to put on the Ricky one, right? Did you hang out with
Nothing-
Ricky
yeah,
or Eck?
Nothing's been. This is all in the works. This is a few steps in the process.
So
but
you're saying none of these people are you?
no.
No, you got to try out. You got to prove that you're worthy of it.
There's some truth to this. You're right. You're right on that.
Can't just throw one of those on, just sneak in the back there and say, hey.
Those heads weigh 50 pounds.
Do they really?
on.
They look like they would be heavy.
50 pounds.
Wow. But you're telling us there's a chance.
Telling you there's a chance.
All right. That someday you could be racing as either Ricky Henderson.
I think the Ricky Henderson head might weigh a little bit more.
I'm getting really excited about it.
50 pounds. Meanwhile, Will Harris just struck out the side. Hey, Will, we apologize. We were talking about the Legends race and guys jumping on Oso Blanco. We'll have the 8th inning after this.
On. Better late than never. Battery trade, 2 in career. Who could it be? How many people out there got it right? Brad Peacock. 41st round pick by the Nationals, acquired from Oakland with Jed Lowry, Chris Carter. And I wish I knew what the F stood for in Rodriguez, I'll be honest. 2 career saves, 3.2 inning save in the World Series Game 3. Fernando Rodriguez. I didn't want to venture a guess until I was correct. And thankfully the guys in the truck are picking me up.
Brad Peacock last night only faced 1 batter, but it was a big batter.
Yeah.
6-3 game, bases loaded, 2 outs, 8th inning. And you know, the team's trying to continue a winning streak, and Peacock found that slider and struck out Stephen Piscotty to end the inning.
No, it was interesting just knowing that Garrett Cole and Verlander were pitching the next 2 games. I think put a little more emphasis on that game, like you were saying, to continue the streak, start out this series here in Oakland with a win. Colin McHugh was losing a little bit of command, but he came in and shut the door. But I think the way that AJ used that bullpen last night was really dictated, knowing that he had Garrett Cole and Verlander coming in the next 2 games.
Now he's got Ramin Gudwan warming up, who we haven't seen pitch yet since being called up from AAA Fresno. 7-run lead, Gudwan warming, and it looks like he'll pitch the bottom of the 8th. Carlos Correa, a couple of walks and a couple of strikeouts. Excuse me, a walk, a triple, and a couple of strikeouts tonight. Knocked in 2 with that triple back in the 2nd inning. Carlos has scored a couple of runs. Carlos has 2 RBIs. Yuli Gurriel has 3 RBIs. Evan Gattis has 5 RBIs. And then Marwin with a solo home run. Chris Hatcher is the new pitcher for the Oakland A's. Bob Melvin, trying not to go too deep with any one of his pitchers, has had Emilio Pagan, Liam Hendricks, Daniel Coulombe, and now Chris Hatcher, as Paul Blackburn, their starter, lasted just an inning and a third and gave up 8 runs. Saw Hatcher last night. Pitched 2 innings, the 6th and the 7th. Didn't chase the fastball up, and Carlos has himself a 3-2 count. Correa, after missing the Texas Rangers series, reached base 3 times last night, has been on base twice tonight. Yuli has a chance for a 4-hit game as he waits on deck. 3-2 pitch is hammered, but he was quick and he pulls it foul.
Yeah, we all get spoiled here at Oakland Coliseum, trust me.
But no possums tonight.
No.
Hey, that's good news.
No. I think they've cleared out.
Ball 4. Correa draws a leadoff walk. That is now 7 walks issued by A's pitching to go along with the 12 hits the Astros have.
It's a lot of base runners.
Number 10, Yuli Gurriel.
Here's Yuli, already with 3 hits. 9 for his last 14, and since his birthday, he's 11 for 18. Takes a pitch inside. Yuli knocked in the first 2 runs with a bases loaded single in the first. Came back with an RBI single in the second. Makes him 2 for 2 tonight with runners in scoring position. He has not batted again with a runner in scoring position, but continues to up that league leading average. Coming in was 444 in that category. Now 22 for 47.
That's impressive.
Whenever he has a runner at second or third. There's a strike. It's 2-1. Astros have 3 home runs tonight. Evan Gattis with 2, Marwin Gonzalez with the other one. Evan ready to head on deck, but still staying very comfortable until the last moment that he has to head on deck. Yuli with an awkward swing there at the 2-2 pitch. Goes down swinging for the first out of the 8th.
Watch the Astros in more ways than ever before by downloading the new AT&T Sportsnet app from iTunes or Google Play, or visit AT&TSportsnet.com to stream on your computer. Log in with your cable account and you're all set. Available for those with AT&T Sportsnet in their TV subscription. Blackouts and territorial restrictions apply.
Josh Reddick bats with the runner on and 1 out. Hey, Julia.
Yes.
People are wondering what's going on with your
legit possums.
opossum.
They are legitimate.
And you responded to that tweet with an interesting fact about the possum.
Yeah, one of them was pregnant.
Oh boy, it's going to be more.
It was the rally possum. It was a thing.
Yes, it was.
Everyone around the league knew about the rally possum.
So what's to your left there, Julia? It looks like you MacGyvered something to watch the game on.
I'm scared to look. Last time we were here, there was a spider that lived above me. Do you remember that?
Yes. It was a little bit like Charlotte's Web there for a while.
And then the seagulls, of course, come out a little later.
Oh, the day game
tomorrow? That's
tomorrow?
my monitor.
I was wondering.
This is
that's pretty interesting. Did you just check yourself out? Busted.
It is what it is. No, this is great. And the people around me that are helping me to get on the air do a great job. Got to give them some love for the
No, they've got a great crew here. I'm with you on that. Your MacGyver contraption to watch the game on?
Yeah.
Do you even know who MacGyver is?
Yes.
Oh, because they made a remake of a movie about the TV show. Have you ever seen the original TV show MacGyver?
No.
Oh, you're missing out.
Josh Reddick slowly towards second. Could be a tough turn with a slow ground ball as Correa is forced at second for out number 2.
Power player of this game is presented to you by TXU Energy. Guess who? Captain Caveman himself up there raking another evening here in Oakland. 5 RBIs in each of the last 2 games. The first 634 games of his career did not have any 5 RBI games. Now he's got back-to-back 5 RBI games. And he's looking to add on here, too.
Facing a guy that he hit a line drive against last night. Did not go out, but he lined out to left field against Hatcher. Evan with a sac fly in the first. 3-run home run, solo home run. Josh Reddick normally, the game wasn't 11-4, would have advanced on that pitch. It's kind of that.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a gray area now late in the ball game.
You don't want to push it.
Yeah.
Because he is normally a very aggressive base runner and tries to take advantage of every 90 feet. Pitch misses. It's 2-0. Evan now with 25 runs batted in his last 15 games and up to 42 RBIs on the season. is tied with Carlos Correa for the team lead all of a sudden. 3-0.
That's when you can tell a guy's locked in. I know that it's late in the game and there is a pretty hefty score on the board already. Evan Gattis has got big numbers, but in a 2-0 count, he was looking to attack, but he laid off that pitch down and away. Picking the ball up early out of the hand of pitchers right now.
There's a strike. Evan's never had a 3 home run game. He's going to see a good pitch here at 3-1. And we already know who Julia's lined up for her post-game interview. He will walk straight over to her apparently to keep the good karma rolling. Plummer pregame interview and Julia postgame interviews. It's a good combo.
He's entertaining to begin with, and then all of a sudden you put him in a hot streak and it makes him that much more entertaining.
Draws the walk here. That is now 5 walks the last 2 innings issued by A's relievers. It has not been a fun night for Bob Melvin or anybody in that A's dugout for that matter. 8 walks issued by their staff on a night where the Astros have 12 hits and 3 home runs. Here's Marwin. Marwin hit a home run to left field as a left-handed hitter. Last year against the Rangers had home runs both lefty and righty. That was the solo shot righty. Javier Bracamonte with a nice catch with the hat, and then the grand slam.
That was a big night. Astros were looking for that one big hit to help them get ahead, and that was it, bringing everybody out of that dugout. But what a way to do it from both sides of the plate and in some serious dramatic fashion.
There's a strike to Marwin. Down to the count 0-2. A's have the day game tomorrow to wrap up this series with the Astros, and they will stay at home, part of this 10-game homestand for the Angels coming into town. With Hatcher having thrown 2 innings yesterday and now near 30 pitches today, you wonder if Bob Melvin is going to start asking around if a position player wants to throw the 9th inning. Getting to that point of the night. Marwin holds up on a pitch in the dirt. It's 2-2.
Rally possum. Yeah, I'm with you, Gary.
Swing and a miss. Marwin trying to hold up, but Hatcher able to strike him out. 2 strikeouts in the inning, 2 walks, 2 left on. 11-4 heading to the bottom of the 8th.
Ballpark tour. Fans can check out areas like the TV booth, press box, dugout, scoreboard, and more. Visit astros.com/tours to book your tour today. New pitcher for the Astros, Ramin Gudwan, who was just recalled recently when Joe Smith went onto the disabled list. Got a chance to talk to Ramin about what was working for him in Fresno, and he talked a lot about the command. It's so big for him. He's got that electric fastball, which is good, but his slider, guys, is something that's really worked for him this year. He's been throwing it more, actually, because he has such good control of it, or he has so far this season, so he hopes to continue that right there, what he's been doing in AAA up here in the big leagues, but really excited to be back in the majors.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch him again after seeing him 22 times last year. Julia with a spot-on scouting report there for him. If stuff's good enough to play at this level, if he can throw strikes.
And a real opportunity here, not much pressure on him, just an opportunity to get out there and show he does have the command, because that fastball in the mid-90s out of a left arm is a huge asset if you're able to locate. And if you can locate, get ahead early, and have a slider as your put-away pitch, that helps out big time too.
They'll face the 3, 4, 5 hitters: Jed Lowry, Chris Davis, and also Matt Olson.
Position player alert.
Jake Smolinski is warming up.
Yep.
Well, there you have it. We will see potentially a position player pitch the 9th inning. Jake Smolinski. Ball in the left field. Reddick is there. Puts it away. Ramin has some good numbers at AAA this year. 3-1, 1 save, 20 relief appearances, 43 strikeouts in 29 innings. And last year, Julia mentioned with the command, 12 walks in 16 innings. He also struck out 16. But for Ramin, it was an outing here that was in September the 9th. That was really the one outing where things just kind of got out of whack for him. He had 5 walks in that game in 2/3 of an inning through 39 pitches, and ended up giving 5 runs up, only allowing 1 hit. And now he's trying to come back here to Oakland, first outing since that really difficult afternoon against the A's when he couldn't find the strike zone. So far he's got 1 out and facing the big bat of Chris Davis here. And Davis sends one deep to left field. This will be his 2nd home run of the game. Well out to left. Davis now with 19 home runs, 3 consecutive hits for Chris Davis. The last 2 are home runs. And it's now 11-5.
And as much as a pitcher can be wild out of the zone, he can also be wild in the zone, and sometimes throw some pitches that are very good to hit. That is a slider coming right back into Chris Davis on that inside corner at 86 miles an hour. With the power that Chris Davis has, he knew exactly what to do with it.
Third multi-home run game this season for Chris Davis. You know, we get to see Davis a lot because he's in the AL West, and the Astros have 6 series a year against the A's. But if you ask people around the country who has the most home runs since the beginning of the 2016 season, I don't think everybody would guess Chris Davis around Major League Baseball.
Or if you do say Chris Davis, you're not thinking this one. Usually the Baltimore Chris Davis in the past has been a home run hitter. Not so much in recent days, but Chris Davis, yeah, he's got some serious pop.
19 bombs this year. This one grounded towards Marwin, bobbles, and now can't make the play. Matt Olson's going to reach. It was hit hard, but Marwin normally makes that play. Going to be an error on the Astros' third baseman, who was playing short in the shift.
Now batting third baseman, Chad Pinder.
Chad Pinder batting. taking over for Matt Chapman at third. The 19 home runs now for Davis, tied with Jose Ramirez. Just J.D. Martinez and Mike Trout have more in the American League. Pinder's first at bat. Chapman went 0 for 2 with a walk. The ideal for A.J. Hinch would have been have Ramin Gudwan pitch the 8th and the 9th, keep his pitch count intact, but now we're seeing bullpen action here with Gudwan having allowed a home run and Olsen reaching on the error. Now Gudwan 2-0 on Pinder. And Pinder sends one deep to center field. That sends Marisnick back to the wall, and this ball is caught by Jake. Up against the wall in center field. Trying to get back is Olsen. He is out. Double play is turned. Ramin Gudwan is fired up as Jake Marisnick may have saved a home run, and in the process turns a double play.
Incredible play by Jake Marisnick. Hasn't been much fun offensively, but he has not given up on the baseball, elevating to take away a potential home run. And then the relay, Marisnick to Kemp to Yuli, double play. Wow.
It would have been a 2-run home run, but he also turns it into a double play. And when you talk about the StatCast defensive metric of catch percentage added, and again, this is just a percentage number. Jake right now is the best in the American League, 1% better than Delino DeShields. He's not leading in outs above average because that's a cumulative number, and you need more games played than Jake's had. But Jake shows why he's in the lineup even when he is struggling at the plate.
Yeah, you can question everything you want on offense. You will not question him on defense. He has done an incredible job on defense.
Position player Jake Smolinski. First pitch he shows to Max Stassi is double to the wall. Max is on the board with his first hit tonight. He's now 1 for 5. First pitching performance for Jake Smolinski in his career, and on one pitch he's given up a double.
Now batting.
First appearance of his career.
The A's have had this happen 12 times. All of them on the road before tonight.
It's incredible.
Yeah. First position player, and Jake gets into one deep to left field, and he just hits a 2-run home run. Little Jake on Jake crime. A position player, Smolinski, giving up a double and a home run, and all of a sudden the Astros are out 13-5. Welcome to the pitching profession, Jake Smolinski.
It's not being introduced real nicely, is it?
2 pitches in, and he's given up 2 runs. Now George 3 pitches in, swings and grounds 1 to third. And you guarantee, knowing this Astros dugout, that George will hear about that from his buddy Jake.
Oh, yeah.
Because Jake hit a home run against Smolinski, and George.
Yeah, there's going to be a Cupid conflict.
Jake's enjoying his home run a little too much. Just let George sit down calmly behind him. And now George is saying, I think he kind of threw a 2-seamer to me, got in on my hands. Everybody's talking to Jake, though. Why not?
He's popular.
Saves a 2-run home run and hits his own 2-run home run. Tony Kemp. This is a team that loves to have fun. We saw it last night in various shots during the broadcast. We've seen it again tonight. It's hard not to enjoy watching the Astros enjoy playing the game of baseball. Alex Bregman gets the night off and the team scores 13 runs.
I think he's got a little bit of FOMO right now. Am I going to have Julia explain that to you? Even I know what FOMO is.
Ground ball to second. Kemp is retired for the second out.
Time to get out and play. It's presented by Toyota. And these guys like to get out and they like to play and they like to hang out at the ballpark together. Pretty interesting play the other night. Having some fun with Jose Altuve with the fake catch. A little bit of a rocket out of the right arm of Correa. Blows up. Yuli Gurriel's not happy about it. They have a conversation. These guys are never a dull moment together. Conversations are endless. But there's a guy in the dugout who has a fear of missing out right now. In Alex Bregman.
FOMO for the win.
Yes.
Love to see Altuve just so relaxed.
he's enjoying the party.
Carlos tried to go deep and pops one up. That will do it for the Astros in the inning, but they add 2 more with Jake hitting a 2-run home run, and enjoy the Astros enjoying the game of baseball as we head out in this 13-5 game.
Hugs for homers.
Sportsnet is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. By Arctic. Overbuilt, not overpriced. And by T-Mobile. Show your military appreciation and use hashtag HatsOffForHeroes. T-Mobile will donate $1 for each post. Not only did that catch by Jake Marisnick save 2 runs and also turned into an inning-ending double play, but it also possibly saved the Astros from using another arm or 2 out of their bullpen, because Brad Peacock was warming up. If that ball goes out, it's 11-7. Peacock probably comes in, and then you still need to get 5 more outs to end the game. Instead, Ramin Gudwan gets out of the inning. And now here he is pitching the 9th in a 13-5 game, and Brad Peacock looks as chilled as possible. So that's a big catch in an otherwise lopsided game.
Yeah, in terms of bullpen use, absolutely.
The Astros will go right into another series with Kansas City after tomorrow. Wrap up this 3-game series with the A's tomorrow afternoon. Will be a 12:35 West Coast start, 2:35 Central Time, and a 2 o'clock pregame show. Guduan trying to finish this game off will face the 7, 8, and 9 hitters, Marcus Semien, Stephen Piscotty, and Josh Phegley. There's a swing and a miss, 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Guduan gets Semien on the strikeout to start the 9th.
It's good, sticking with the strong stuff. Got a couple of foul balls over that right side, but it's good to see Guduan staying with that heater, come right after him.
So whatever hijinks Julia was up to in between the middle of this game, when the game was already 10-0 at that point, 10-3 at some point, we're going to see part of that during tomorrow's telecast to make sure, in addition to watching Justin Verlander pitch, you want to stay tuned for that as well. If you are working tomorrow during that 2:35 first pitch Central Time, always DVR it.
Download the app.
There you go, or download the app. Watching it while at work somehow, covertly. 0-2 the count to Piscotty. Piscotty hit a 3-run home run against Garrett Cole. Garrett gave up 4 runs tonight in 6 innings of work. It was the most runs allowed by Cole when he was working all night with a big lead. Gave up a couple of home runs to account for all those 4. Guduan really bounced that one up there. It's 1-2. Well, hopefully that play by Jake will get Guduan 2 innings of work tonight when it looked like he might have been out after 2 home runs allowed to 4 batters. Called 3rd strike, broke the slider over. 2 outs in the 9th. Guduan joined the Astros on Sunday when Joe Smith was put on the DL. And pitching for the first time in 2018. Numerous hitting starts for the Astros tonight. Led by Evan Gattis with 2 home runs and 5 runs batted in. Marwin was on base 3 times, hit a home run. Ely drove in 3 runs and had 3 base hits, and Carlos Correa drove in 2 on a triple. Correa and Springer ended up batting 7 times tonight. No, 6 times tonight. Excuse me. In a 9-inning game.
Yeah, 7's a little excessive.
Yeah, that would have been a little extreme. So we'll see if,
but not shocking.
We'll see if with all those walks too, 14 hits and 8 walks allowed by A's pitching. To Smolinski's credit, he came in and didn't walk anybody. Raymine missed on that 0-2 pitch, not by much to Josh Phegley. Phegley batting for the 2nd time, came on in the 7th. Struck out in his lone appearance against Will Harris. Harris was really good tonight. In a game where we weren't really focused on Harris at that point, he struck out the side, getting Phegley, Fowler, and Canna in a perfect 7th inning.
No, it's good you bring that up. It's not an ideal situation for a guy to come in, but Will Harris took full advantage of it, dominated the inning he had.
Astros will, for the first time in team history, have a winning record in their franchise head-to-head mark against the Oakland A's. About to win their 7th in a row against Oakland. And there it is, Raymine Guduan with 2 innings. And the Astros win 13-5. They have now won 7 in a row against the A's, and overall in their franchise history now lead the series 55-54, first time that Houston has ever led. We will have a fun post-game show as we're beyond the midnight hour as we head into Thursday morning with the post-game show coming up after this.
Oye, sácale. Muy bueno, ahí, aprieta.